Hey, I got something to show you guys. Take a look. It is spring. Happy spring to all of you. Take a look at what we have here for you from allyrosefragrances.com. Beautiful spring scent candles here for you. Hand poured with premium fragrance and essential oils. How about this? Our coconut soy wax candles bring fresh, uplifting spring scents to your home. Made with clean, natural ingredients, they're a mindful choice for sensitive spaces and those who love effortless seasonal fragrances. You got to check it out right now. There's the soft bloom and the lemon bar candles, all healthy ingredients, all from allyrosefragrances.com. And if you're a first-time customer, use the promo code InsideEdge20. That's InsideEdge20. Get this for yourself, for your friends, family, everyone. You want a good smelling home, allyrosefragrances.com will make it happen. Again, allyrosefragrances.com. Get the new spring candles. And when you order, if you're a first-time customer, Inside Edge 20 is the promo code.
All right, I was really hoping to see if Double A was going to get his shit together before this whole thing started. This is the main event on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. I am Rob Rozycki. We do have Eli Moon. We have Double A Anthony Alford. Sans the Don Lemon glasses he was doffing in that nice little advertisement there. Alley Rose Fragrances, yes, check them out for sure. How is everybody doing after a week off? I was in Florida. I didn't get attacked by a gator, or we didn't get into a head-to-head with Tiger Woods or anything, so we're good to go there. More on that later. But how is everybody doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Cannot complain. Weather's been all right. Not Texas weather, but it's been all right. Double A, you look great without your glasses. It's great to have everybody back here and great to be back on the main event. And just rock and rolling, man. Feeling good. I got a busy April, so just breathing. It's my nephew's birthday officially too in about an hour and a half. My nephew will be 4 years old and officially about like an hour and 43 minutes. So by the time we're wrapping up this show, I'll be wishing my nephew a happy birthday. So very excited.
Well, happy birthday to your nephew, Rob. Thank you for. I almost spit out my coffee during that commercial. almost lost it. But Rob, while you were in Orlando, Florida, and Eli was in San Antonio last week, I also took a vacation. I filmed that commercial at the village of Shaker Heights, Ohio. So,
how was it?
Okay.
Oh, it was great. The great cookies. They got great cookies there. Great coffee. Nice vibes. Great little chill spot to work on stuff, including film a couple of commercials for the Inside Edge Network. You'll see another one later on. But yeah, there's some good things there, and it's great. It only took me 15 minutes to get there.
Yeah, it took a little longer to get to Florida. Actually, we, as Nikki and I were kind of entering Ohio, we were remarking about how great the weather was pretty much for driving, especially getting up and back. We got a little rain in Florida, but, that was pretty much it. Like, actually, the weirdest thing in Florida were actually the roads, man. Those driving in Florida is not for the faint of heart. I'll just let everybody know that one. But, yeah, everything else was fine, so... But, yeah, it was a nice 2-hour, 2-day drive down and a 2-day drive back. So, yeah, it was wonderful.
Dude, roads anywhere but Ohio seem crazy. I mean, I was in New York last summer, and those were, everybody knows New York traffic. I don't really need to explain New York traffic. It's just nuts. But then you go to Texas. I went to Texas, last year in September, and then going back, there's like everything's a loop. And like a turn into a different highway, and they're like encouraging U-turns, like U-turn here in the next, and you're like U-turn, but it's really just like a roundabout into like the next lane, and it's like I don't get it, I don't understand. But
well, like the weird thing with Florida, and picture any town here in Northeast Ohio, if it's Menor out here, you got Shaker, whatever, and you have your retail, your gas stations, just your life. Those roads are posted at 45. And there's 6 lanes wide, 8 lanes wide. And if you go 45, you will be passed like you're standing still. Nick was going a lot, like 65, 70 miles an hour on those roads and still getting lapped. So, like, imagine trying to get out of Circle K after, getting a pack of smokes and a Monster or something like that. and instead of going out on center right here in Menor, at 35 miles an hour, you got to get up to highway speed pretty much instantaneously. And yeah, I mean it's not for the faint of heart at all.
Yeah, I get it.
Do
Well, I know
you ever,
Go ahead,
do you ever, Rob, when you're driving, actually, I'm not going to say you in particular, but just in general, like, and you're a little bit above the speed limit, and then somebody like really passes you by, you're looking like, wait, I thought I was driving fast. Like, what are we doing?
That happened a lot on actually while we were just driving through West Virginia, especially, and anybody who's driven, 77 through West Virginia, like you got the foothills of Appalachia. I mean, you're going up and down. It was almost like one of the roller coasters we were on in Disney, and you had people who just did not give two shits. We're going 65 to 75 depending on where we were at. I mean, 85, 90 mile an hour, they just did not give two shits about, human life or anything along that line. Because, anybody who's been out there knows if you're off the road for a couple of feet, you're falling for several hundred more in some cases. So, yeah, nobody cared. Everyone was just doing it.
Well, I know you have a lot of questions for us, I'm sure, and a lot of questions in general after your little hiatus. I know you were out in Florida just basking in the sun.
Yeah.
My question, though, listen, before you get into any questions, because I'm sure you got them. Do you have a pair of Mickey Mouse ears? Did you bring any back?
I did not. No, I don't have any mouse ears. I was instructed at the beginning of the trip to pick a couple of T-shirts that I saw fitting. I would wear them right now, but quite honestly, wearing anything with a Disney logo on this podcast scares the living bejesus out of me. And Pete and Anthony. That's why we're going with my Happy Coke Zero shirt I got at Disney Springs. But no mouse ears or any headgear. Nikki, though, has mouse ears for every day that we were there.
I love it. All right, go ahead. Go ahead, Nikki. That's what I'm talking about.
No, and honestly, we'll get into the trip a little bit more because I got like my top 5 Disney rides. We rode a lot of rides, and it was phenomenal. First thing I'll say is Disney, yes, it's a little bit more expensive, but it is completely worth it. These guys deliver all the time. I mean, like it's a home run every time you go. So great. But that aside, and I had a wonderful time. Believe me, we had a kick-ass resort. Kick-ass time in the parks. We saw the Florida Aquarium, which was awesome too. But watching Nikki just absolutely light up and have a great 3 days, especially in Disney. We were wandering around Tampa a little bit on foot for a while, so the good times took a break in the mid-afternoon on Thursday, but otherwise just watching her light up at the parks and having a great time with that's what that's about. That's what this kind of stuff was for. So yeah, we had a nice little week to unwind. I rode some roller coasters. I did get a picture with Mickey, so we do have that going, but it was a good time.
I can't wait, and of course we'll talk more about it. We're going to also talk about later on between myself and Eli, whose list was more accurate compared to ours. If you watched the show a couple weeks ago,
Double A, your list.
Eli mentioned some kind of nonsense about particular parks that were at the top or the bottom of the list. So,
Double A, let's be real. Your list was trash. Let's be real. I love you, but your list was trash. Rozycki, and I'm excited to hear what you got to say later. But my list obviously was way better. I know you didn't go to Hollywood Studios. I get it. If you omit that, I still had the 1, 2, and 3. I'm sure, right? So I'm not worried about it.
Well, it's weird, and we'll obviously get into it in the last segment here. But you can say what park's your favorite for sure. But again, these they deliver 100% of the time. I mean, it is the sweet spot of the bat. It is 110 exit velo every time. So, they're like, I don't know which one's the best, but you can definitely pick your favorite for sure. But like everything is just done perfectly in every square inch of that place.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's been a minute. It's been a few years since I went. Last time we went, and then I know we got to dive into sports. Last time we went, my sister was pregnant actually with my niece, and we found out that I was having a niece, and my parents found out they were having a granddaughter because we did like these donuts at Voodoo Donuts over on the boardwalk over Universal, and we bit into it and found out. Boom, there you go. All right, cool, awesome. Let's dive into sports.
No, I will say real quick, Universal is on my bucket list. That's one place I do want to go to. There'll probably be another, we need a couple more sponsors. Then we can get the Universal.
Sponsored trip to Universal. I like that.
Hey, listen,
Universal.
Well, because they have Epic Universe. Epic Universe, and from what I saw, my friend Chelsea went down there with her son. Super Mario Land looks crazy.
Yeah, we want to check the Harry Potter stuff out too, and everything like that. But the one and the one detail that needs to go at the top of the show about the trip, and you guys are just like me, when none of us can relate to this, but going down to Disney as two adults doing your thing is fine. Like actually, Nikki had her steps meter on, and we found out in the 3 days at the parks, and this was a full day at Epcot, half day at Animal Kingdom, and then the other half at the resort sitting on our ass by the pool. And then the last day was at Magic Kingdom the whole day. We did 26 miles in 3 days on our feet.
Yeah.
How do you do that with children? How do you do that with double and triple strollers? I saw one dude, I wish I could have stopped him mid-stride and shook his hand. He had a triple stroller. His calves were the size of my thighs. And he is chugging up this hill like he has been doing burpees for like the last 10 years of his life preparing for this moment.
Dude.
And we're going up this little trail, me and Nikki. Nikki has this backpack with a couple of like bottles of water, ponchos in case, rain happens, and pretty much nothing else. It's a light bag. And this dude just chugs up and passes us like we're going 65 on the highway, just in the zone. But I have no idea how, 4 or 5 little kids under the age of 6 years old, you're taking roll call like it's a prison block. You're just really happy at the end of the day if you started with 7 and ended with 7. Like, really, what else is there to really... I mean, kids crying, kids throwing stuff at each other. You got baby leashes. Mother, oh my God, I could not imagine being a parent in that situation, man. Oh, my God.
Shout out to Papa Moon and Mama Moon, because I know I was... Me and my...
Oh, dude, my
pain in the ass.
took me when I was 9.
Yeah.
Like, the same thing, dude.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I know I was a pain in the ass, and then you got to take it to breakfast, and you want everything under the sun because everything's got, like, sugary sweets in it. I mean, it's... Man, dude. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to go back to Disney Universal. Because now,
it's fun. Yeah, it's
now,
a good time.
Like, last time I went, I was still drinking, so me and the hotel, our Universal Resort bar were, like, really good friends. But nowadays, I'll just have to go, find, something sugary.
We had a few drinks here and there, but, I mean, it wasn't, what helps you out, too, with the bar tabs is the price. You go and have 3 or 4 mixed drinks, all of a sudden, you're signing mortgage papers.
Yeah.
So,
Ain't that the truth?
So, we'd have a few here and there, but, I mean, it definitely wasn't. Plus, too, I don't know about you guys, if you're ever, out walking around in 85-degree heat all day, the last thing I want to do is imbibe a lot of alcohol. That's typically
that's why
that hurts me.
Honestly, when my ex and I, when we went a few years back, that's why alcohol really wasn't part of the deal, because after all that walking, at all that stuff, you're just exhausted. You're honestly, you almost treat the hotel stay like a dorm room. Like, hey, it's just a place to shower and sleep, and then we got to get right back at the next morning.
Yeah, that second day we were at Animal Kingdom, and we just kind of, Nikki looked around and said, hey, do you just want to, it was about 2 o'clock, hey, do you just want to venture back to the room, and just kind of, because we were at the Port Orleans Resort, which is old French Quarter, New Orleans style, and we're because we're looking around hey, the amount of money it was to just even stay in that resort, we're dude, let's just not have it be a dorm, let's stick around for an evening and, just be lounge lizards by the pool and hot tub and all that kind of stuff and enjoy what this is. So, that's really the biggest issue with Disney, is that there's just too much to do, even if you have 4, 5, 6 days to do it in. So
we did talk just a little. We was just thinking about that because, like, with the strollers and stuff with like toddlers, well, there's no way. There's no way if I'm ever fortunate to spend money on a family to go there. Ain't no way I'm bringing a toddler to Disney for two reasons. Number one, everything you just mentioned, like that's just hassle. And then number two, toddlers ain't gonna remember what they did at Disney.
I did, even though I did trash it for a second, and I would think that as much as you would not want to do that, Double A or Eli, I would think your parents would want you to do it, because the perspective I got hanging out by the pool and seeing everybody just kind of be families. Yeah, okay, you got a 5-year-old grandkid who's not going to remember anything about it, or maybe a couple of flashes, but you got the 70-year-old grandfather who knows that if we wait until the kid's 15 years old, I'm not going to be around to do this, and they were having, like, it was as much for the parents to play with the kids and the parents to make memories too, as much as the kids' memories. So I understand. I mean, it's a labor of love. Dear God, it's a labor of love. But yeah, I do understand it to a point, because yeah, I mean, like, you know, you had people down there that were having the times of their lives, and you know, yeah, it was. I could understand it. Would I want to do it right now? Not really. But yeah, we're good.
Well,
And-
go ahead, Eli.
I was gonna say in Double A, don't act like if you went to Kiddie Park or something like that as a kid, you don't remember going to like Kiddie Park or Cedar Point. I get, like, you may not remember everything, and Disney is expensive, but I do think you have core memories, and I think the kids will remember something. I mean, I remember, look, Papa Moon dressed up as a clown for my first birthday party. I don't know if we have pictures still, but he dressed up as a clown, and we had like a pony, and like my parents did the whole thing up, and I still remember core memories. I'm not gonna sit there and say, oh, I remember my first birthday, but you have like those like photographic memories, Double A, and maybe that's not enough for you to justify a couple extra $1,000, but you know what? That's the price you pay for love.
I'm not going to Kittyland because y'all think I go to Kittyland now. So
Yeah, we wouldn't need to have a picture of you in the teacups would not be a good thing for your.
But you guys think I'm going the miracle round to Cedar Point?
Double A, you are technically still in that height range to ride those rides, so. All right, let's get into
Rob,
it.
go ahead and move on to the
baseball.
show.
Yeah, we spent a nice little 15 minutes here, just kind of I mean, we haven't talked in a while, so yeah, here. But yeah, a lot of crap's happened. I have been straight up the last couple of days while we've been driving through pretty much the entire Confederacy and Eastern Seaboard. Trying to keep up with everything here. The one thing I didn't really need to keep an eye on, it was just kind of there for me, and it was a natural love of mine. The Cleveland Guardians. And it's weird how the last couple hours have changed the way that we're looking at this. When we started playing the show, they were 2-1, and everything was looking great. Now they're 2-2. They just lost to the Mariners. I actually went final about a half an hour ago. I guess the big breaking news with the shutout loss, Chase DeLauter did not have a home run for the first time in his regular season major league career. So should we trade him now or just send him down?
You know what?
Get
Here's
him out
the
of here,
thing.
Eli. Get him out.
Here's the thing.
We kid.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing with DeLauter. We talked about it on primetime, about like when he was injured, or like they were being very cautious with him in spring training. And me and Chad were very concerned at first that, like, okay, is this going to be an all-season thing with DeLauter? Is he going to be injured? Or going to be nursing an injury? And obviously that was the talk. You know, he even talked about it after one of the post games, or early on in the season already, about staying healthy and how important that's going to be. But so far, so great. I mean, he has been incredible. I mean, historic. Him and Trevor Story, the only two players in Major League Baseball history to have 4 home runs throughout their first 3 games. I mean, the guy is on pace for an incredible season. And we talked in the Guardians preview show, Rob, here on this network, Inside Edge Network, which if you're just tuning in, thanks for following along. Give us a follow, Inside Edge Net. But we talked about it here on the Guardians preview show about the importance of DeLauter and Arias and these young guys. And DeLauter so far is holding up his end of the bargain. I guess what we're trying to see, and I know this is the focus on DeLauter, is like how these other guys are going to shape up around them. I was curious to see how Rhys Hoskins would fall into this lineup, how Stephen Kwan would bat, because another point Chad did bring up on primetime is it does seem like when the rest of the offense is going, Stephen Kwan kind of has some struggles. And, he went 0 for 5 the other night. And yes, I know he had that big sacrifice bunt and got over to second and eventually comes home on the DeLauter home run. But I'm curious to see how the rest of this lineup turns around because so far DeLauter's been the one consistent thing. Is DeLauter will go deep? I guess not tonight, but other than that, he got on base. And that seems to be the consistent thing. Is he is that offensive guy we were counting on maybe Kyle Manzardo being that power bat, and it's been DeLauter.
It's going to be huge too because that 2-hole especially is huge. To at least have him on base. I mean, the home run stuff is great. I have a whole list of teams that he has. He's had more home runs than several.
I think it'd be easier to name the teams that actually have out-homered him, to tell you the truth.
It would be. Now. It would be. But it's so important considering, like, hey, can we get a hitter on base when Jose Ramirez is up to bat? That's the part that is important to me. And if that can continue, that's great. But, yeah, I mean, look. This is a great start. All 4 games of this series. Obviously, DeLauter has had a hit, including tonight. And the home run thing is just spectacular. Just awesome because that's one of those things, guys. All right, opening day, okay, this kid hits a homer. And then game 2, okay, this kid, another homer. But then by the 3rd game, you realize – we really can't be pitching to this kid, really at all. And then look what happens to win the game, essentially the go-ahead homer to win it on Saturday. That's incredible to know that even when somebody, they know you're a threat, they still try you out on the 3rd game of the series and you still deliver. This has been incredibly special. To watch what he's been able to do.
What's helping DeLauter out right now is the fact that he is in front of Jose. So he is, I mean, as hot as he is, you still do not want to put him on base and deal with what's coming up next. But, yeah, I mean, it's exciting. It's, we see these top prospects come up all the time, if it's around baseball and, just kind of make waves and be the next big thing, on the position side of things. We've had pitchers do it. But it's nice now that we actually have one of these offensive guys that can pull something off like this, at least right now. I mean, we will do the PSA that, yes, it's 4 games in to this 162-game slog that we are going to be dealing with baseball season. So a lot can change. But right now, yeah, I think the idea is to keep, DeLauter in that 2-hole. And the other thing you really have to do is keep him healthy. He has, in 3 years in the minors, about as many games as a full season. He has missed a lot of time with injury. He has been constantly, the next big thing for this Guardians team the last couple of years. Just the injuries have gotten in the way. I don't know if that is limiting his at-bats, period. If that's seeing him DH a couple of, a little bit more than we might have been planning on, which could mess with other things in the lineup. Manzardo, David Fry, Rhys Hoskins, all that stuff. So, yeah, I would say the most important thing right now, and it may not even be right now, it may be come July and August, when we still, when we finally get into the dog days of summer, you got to keep him healthy because we have to see what this full season is going to look like.
Yeah, he's got to be healthy, Rob, and then right after that, the defense has got to pick up a little bit. There's been a few plays, last year in the postseason when he stepped up, and I get it, is an important series, a wild card series, playing the Detroit Tigers, trying to make a wave in your first real major league action. But he had a drop the other night that he really fumbled the ball, and it seems like the gloves is not all the way there. As much as he's been a great offensive bat, don't get me wrong, I love the offense, and I guess I'm always a doom and gloom guy with the Guardians, and I'm not there yet. Obviously, we're 2-2. I think they're gonna have a good season. I picked them to win the Central. But I do think, to your point, you talked about the DH position. It's like we hope that DeLauter can at least pick up the glove a little bit more because you don't want to have to put him at DH. You'd rather have him out in the field so you can use Manzardo and Hoskins in the same lineup and have that extra pop in the offense. And that's why I hope DeLauter's glove turns around because you just don't want it to be where we're playing mid-August, we're playing for the division, and you see a fumble out there in the outfield, and not for a football term, but, he bobbles the ball, and that's my only fear. As great as he's been offensively, it seems like the glove does need to come around a little bit more.
But and I think the glove will come, and that is something, because I didn't notice that. I mean, I did a little bit, but that's something I'm going to pay close attention to now that you brought it up, Eli. But I will say this offensively, when you're facing Seattle and then you got the Dodgers, right? Those are two teams where your offense needs to be able to put up a fight to have a chance to win those games. And that's where that helps. I mean, to be able to establish a threat, and hopefully Stephen Kwan, Kwan had a decent game on Saturday. Hopefully, again, if you can get that 1-2 going into Jose against the Dodgers, I mean, that's going to be huge. And that, again, sets up, to Rob's point, where you don't have to all of a sudden, if DeLauter's doing well, you don't have to just say, hey, we gotta work our way to try to get past Jose Ramirez. Like, there are other threats now in the lineup that hopefully will materialize and that the Dodgers are going to have to respect.
Well, and the whole thing too with the lineup in general, if Kafis is at the very least a functional league average number 2 hitter, that'll make that lineup infinitely better. Remember last year, I think Albert Bell got a couple of at-bats in the 2-hole last year. They were trying everybody out. They were doing everything they possibly could. I mean, seriously, if you went back and just look at the stats, I think Bo Naylor got at-bats, Nolan Jones got at-bats. It was everybody. Angel Martinez was a guy they relied on a lot. It was just tough for them to really find that punch, with that number 2. And you got Kwani already leading off. If you can get 1, 2, 3 stabilized in that lineup, and then you even look at Manzardo at 4, Hoskins, that might be moving around a little bit depending on who's hot or whatever. But all of a sudden, if you get a top end of that lineup that is consistent, that is producing, that's the other thing. These guys have to produce too. Manzardo has not gotten out to exactly a great start this, the first 4 games of the season. Again, 4 games, but yeah, I mean, if you can get that top 4 or 5 guys stabilized out, that's going to make voters' job a whole lot easier. And yeah, you're right with the schedule. I'll just do this as a PSA. They got 3 in LA. They got Chicago. That's going to be the home opener series. Then you got Kansas City, feisty team in your division. Atlanta after that. They're no joke. And you might be able to kind of breathe a little bit against St. Louis. You're going to be in Missouri for a couple of games. But then you go right back at it to Baltimore, Houston, Toronto, Tampa Bay. And that gets you to May 1. So, this first month of April is going to be a gauntlet for the Guardians. And this might be one of those situations, if they're 500 coming out of a month like this, maybe even a game or 2 under. But if they're right around there and they can actually have then this back half of their schedule to play while in contention, this might be I don't think it's going to be a 16-game comeback in the last 3 weeks of the season, but I got a feeling the Guardians might have to catch whoever is setting the pace for this race.
Potentially, and obviously the spot, the scheduling positioning that the MLB does now with, playing every team in Major League Baseball, it's going to make it a little difficult some seasons, just depending on how it stacks up. This year, obviously, not ideal, but I do think that Braves matchup, Rob, you brought them up too. I think that's actually a spot where the Guardians offense could get hot. Guys like Naylor, who's having a rough start to the year offensively, Arias, Rocchio, you mentioned Manzardo. I think that's where, the Braves are having a lot of pitching trouble. We've highlighted that on primetime. Chad's an avid Braves fan, so we have highlighted how they have had trouble there. Jerks and Profar suspended for the entire season offensively. So I think that could be a series where the Guardians get rolling. You mentioned in that St. Louis series, maybe a little relief there as well. But this is going to be, to your point, a season or a month in the season where this is going to show what kind of team the Guardians are going to be. Are they going to have to battle from behind? Or are they going to be able to set the pace for the AL Central? And that's really what it comes down to. We did see early on, in both their starts, Paul Skeens and we saw Logan Webb have trouble. And they both were in the World Baseball Classic. And I'm curious to see the guys that did pitch in there, how they have trouble and kind of see what Tariq Skubal, I know he didn't pitch very long, but he was away from the team, had to do double duty. So I'm curious to see what that kind of does, too, for that Tigers team. And I think the Guardians could take advantage of something like that early on. So I'm curious to see how this early season looks. In this Dodgers series, just like this Mariners series, could be a test of like how this team stacks up.
So 2 things here. This is almost kind of similar to the Cavs, where early in the season is just a murderous row as far as the schedule. And then if we're going to look ahead, somehow the back half, we're going to find out, the Guardians have one of the easiest strengths of schedules to end the season. So if you're there, we'll see. I didn't do any research, but that's how the Cavs season played out. I think the World Baseball Classic thing might come into play across baseball. And I did watch Paul Skeens against the Mets on opening day, and it was a troublesome first inning.
I think I was in line at Pirates of the Caribbean for longer than he was actually on the mound. So good job.
Probably was. Yeah,
those Pirates. Hey, those Pirates. Sorry, no, but real quick, those Pirates were having a better time than that Pirate on the mound. Those Pirates of the Caribbean, they were having a way better time.
Oh, I got a few texts from people from Pittsburgh. I understand.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But I do think. Oh yeah, good luck down there in Pittsburgh. But I do think the World Baseball Classic, maybe early on, there could be a little bit of fatigue there. I will mention too with the Guardians, and you guys bring up the schedule. This is where in the past we have said, well, I don't know if the offense could come through, but we trust our starting pitching. I don't know if I can confidently say that at this moment about this team. Of course, Tanner Bybee, what's going to be his status? I know we talked briefly about that before the show. Eli, what is his status right now?
Yeah, day-to-day with right shoulder inflammation went out on opening day. And, that's the big talk is, Bybee's was hopefully to be the ace. It was either him or Gavin Williams, but a lot of people were hoping for a big season from Tanner Bybee. And I'm not saying he can't have a big season, but I talked, before, with a few people, and I've said it here on the network, that I just feel like we are far from the days of the Corey Kluber, Trevor Bauer, and Josh Tomlin type lineups, pitching wise, that 3-man rotation, and being deeper than that, but that, being the heart when the postseason kicked off in that 2016 run. We're far from those days. I mean, these guys are good. I mean, we have some potential there. I mean, Cantillo, he's got some potential, Saccone, and especially Williams and Bybee. But I just think, for the most part, it's not a great pitching lineup. It's not one that you're going to get away with a lot of 1 or 2-0 victories. You're going to have to win 4-3. The other night, you saw you had to put up 6 runs, win a 6-5 ball game. And I think that's the big thing is you're not going to get bailed out by Cy Young, 2 maybe 3 Cy Young pitchers on your roster. You're just not anymore.
Well, and I think and you got to remember, I think this is built a little differently than that staff was from 5-10 years ago, or even anything before that. I'll concede to you to both of you. I think this is an above average starting rotation. It's not great, but it's above average. It's a great pitching staff. You put that relief, crew in there. You put the bullpen in there. We got the best bullpen in baseball. We've had it for 2 years. The bullpen was so damn good that our closer was tanking games, and it was still the best bullpen in baseball, or taking pitches. And it was still the best bullpen in baseball. And we lost that guy mid-season. And, the only thing we did with his replacement was come back from, 15 or whatever down. So the bullpen is there. And these guys, I think the starting rotation is built. Give me 5. Give me 6. Look dominant throughout that. Hand it off to the bullpen, and we take it from there. So, maybe Gavin Williams will have another one of those starts that does turn into 8 1/3 no-hit ball. Or, Bybee might have another one of those. Some of these guys are capable of doing that here and there. But I think, by and large, they're going to be dependent on look great for 15 outs, get the hell out, and get the fresh arms in there. I think that's where we're at right now. And it's probably baseball-wide, too. We're seeing, average start, innings per start going down across the league. Has been doing that for 20 years. good luck 300 game winners, good luck 3,000 strikeout guy. That ain't going to happen. I think I saw the stat was Randy Johnson had 5 straight 300K seasons from 98 to 02. There have been 5 since.
Yeah, I was going to say, when are you going to see that again?
Right.
So that's not the way things are going. I think, and typically now in baseball, it's no more of an out pitching by committee. So I think that's what this bullpen is built for. I think that's what these starters are built for. We'll see what happens with Bybee. That alarms me because that if you remember a couple of years ago with Shane Bieber, it was he's just having some discomfort in whatever, and then the next thing we know, done for the year. So it's a shoulder, so that always makes me nervous. I'm not going to be calm about that until I see Bybee go out there and throw a couple of starts without incident. It doesn't have to be good starts. I just don't want them pulled. But yeah, I'm not going to be completely okay with that until I see, with my own eyes on what's happening. Because, if it is Jared Allen being day to day for 9 months and never playing, or if it is this team with their injury disclosures, this city just does not do well with talking about injuries. So I'll be we'll wait to see on that one.
Tuesday is the day to watch. Tuesday, right now, that is undecided. That's the spot for Bybee. If he's cleared to play Tuesday, and on the other side, it's going to be some dude named Shohei Ohtani on the other side. So Tuesday night will be the day to watch if he's able to be cleared. And let's see how much he's able to push, because I'm trying to remember back to that opening day. Maybe he would have been able to go for another inning or two.
He looked good. I mean, he had 7 Ks and 5. Well,
right.
Let me pull up your pitch count. Yeah, keep going. Yeah.
You're good. No, I mean, he looked pretty good on opening day during point AA. But I think at the end of the day, my fear is that the rest of the rotation.
78.
My fear is the rest of the rotation isn't going to be able to step up. Or they're going to need to, or we're going to be in trouble. I guess that's the fear I'm having, is because they, and I don't know if these are the guys that can give you more than what they're giving you right now. Because you saw even today, I believe Slade Ciccone was on the mound, and I mean, they just what they're able to give isn't what the pitchers of 5-10 years ago on this Tribe roster were given, and I guess that's what I'm getting at, Rozycki. I'm not saying these guys can't give you 4 or 5 innings of decent ball from here and there, but we're gonna need more than that, especially if this offense isn't gonna produce like this. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to have bad days like this all the time, but I also don't think the norm is 6 runs for a Guardians offense. If it is, I will take it. That is an amazing thing that we have not been able to deal with in a long time. But trends, baseball is a trends sport, and trends have shown us over the last few years that the Guardians offense is more around that 2 to 4 run range. And that's why I'm like, okay, if Bybee's out long term, or at least deals with this and it's a nagging injury, to your point, then are these guys going to be able to step up? Gavin Williams, Logan Allen, who struggled in spring training, or Tanner Messick, are these guys going to be able to step up? Slade Ciccone, that's what I'm looking for. Ultimately, that's I think the biggest question I have going into this first month of baseball.
And we'll get our first look at Messick coming up tomorrow. He'll be on the bump for first game against the Dodgers here. The concerning thing, if you want to look at the first 4 starts, your 2 horses, Bybee and Williams, they both went 5 innings flat. They at least had that going for them. What was it? Cantillo yesterday got ran after 3 2/3, and I believe it was Ciccone did not make it out of the 5th. I think he was 4 1/3. So, you're talking about 5, 10, 17, 18 innings now between 5 starts. That's not or 4 starts. That's not a good number. And I mean, we can see what happens with, a couple of days here and there doing something like that, but you're going to be putting your bullpen under a lot of stress. And the one thing I will say is Seattle is a good team. Seattle has a good pitching staff. Seattle has a good offense. So, I mean, the vibe a couple of these games were kind of playoff-like, even though it was the opening week of the season. So, I mean, I don't think this is going to be kind of indicative of every team you're going to be facing, but it might be indicative of the teams you're going to be facing for the next 3 weeks. So,
and my last point too.
Yeah, it's going to be an uphill struggle for sure.
Well, yeah. I mean, my last point too. Even when we were in the glory days of our pitching staff, and we were in those 2-1 ball games, 3-2 ball games. I mean, even back then, would you have trusted, like, if we had that kind of pitching staff today, but a supremely subpar offense, would you trust our team to win against the Mariners and Dodgers 2-1, 3-2? Like those teams, and obviously the Dodgers, but also Seattle, there is too much firepower, even against the very best pitching staffs, to hold them down to 1 or 2 runs.
That's why we're looking at, when it comes to the long-term prospect of this team and can they win the division, if not more, you're not really looking at the pitching. I think the pitching, even on a bad day, has a lower floor than the offense does. That's why we're going to be talking about guys like Chase DeLauter all year. We're going to be, Gabriel Arias. Is Bo Naylor going to be September Bo Naylor, or is he going to be August, July, before Bo Naylor? That's going to be the, Manzardo. Can he come up with a 30 home run season? We need the offense to do it. I think the pitching can hold up. The pitching, and knowing full well that, if you're facing the Dodgers, the offense doing it might be 7 runs, 8 runs, because your starters are going to have a tough time against Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman. It's just how it's going to work. So, the offense is going to be the big question on this team. Can the offense do its job? Because, again, I think even an average night for the pitching, a below average night for us, is still a C, B- for a lot of other teams. So, that's going to be able to hold up.
Yeah.
By the way, if we win real quick, Eli, if we win a game against the Dodgers, 1 game, that'll be the Dodgers' first loss. They swept the Arizona Diamondbacks this past weekend.
Yeah, you get what you pay for.
And I know we got to go to break here soon. All I'll say is I just think it's going to be a very interesting season for the Guardians, because this is, like we keep talking about, this is different than the last few seasons. I feel like, especially last season, I think the pitching staff even overperformed. I think they performed better than I think most people expected that lineup to.
They lost their closer. Yes, they overperformed.
No, but I'm saying the starters. I'm not talking about the closing. We've highlighted the bullpen. I'm talking about the starters. And I think the starters, however, are coming back down to earth, and that's going to be the biggest problem. Is I don't know if this offense is a 5 to 6 run offensive production. And when your biggest free agent signing, all due respect, I think Rhys Hoskins is going to be great here. But when your biggest signing is 32-year-old Rhys Hoskins, that's asking a lot for an offense that is, these guys were playing in AAA, a lot of them, a year or 2 ago. And you have Mookie Betts, who's, multiple-time World Series champion, Freddie Freeman on this team. You even look at Seattle, Cal Raleigh, who, he almost won MVP last season. There's guys that just, if you don't have the firepower offensively, you're not going to compete. And that's why it's so shocking. We're so excited about DeLauter, because if DeLauter wasn't having this run right now, the Guardians could be 1-3, after the first 4, are in a different position. So I think that's why it's exciting, because we weren't expecting this type of pop from the offense. We were expecting from Manzardo, not from DeLauter.
I will make a promise right now. I understand what the average age of this roster is. I understand, what this team is typically when it comes down to bringing up prospects and so on and so forth. I will not use and I will not cite youth with this team, because the one thing that this bunch of 25-year-old dudes have is playoff experience. Gabriel Arias has played in the playoffs now, a couple of runs. David Fry, we've seen what he can do in the playoffs. A lot of big-ass home runs. Jose Ramirez, we know him. Brian Rocchio, playoff Roke. Like, these guys have been around for a while now. Stephen Kwan, multiple playoff runs. So I am not going to use the fact that they are young. Yes, do they have some young players? Yes. That Chase DeLauter kid has just played in his, 4th Major League game. Oh, yeah, he debuted in the playoffs. So I'm not going to give them a whole lot of benefit of the doubt when it comes down to youth.
Yeah, but we're talking different. We're talking different, though, when it comes to playoffs. So they haven't played deep playoff. Like, I'm talking, they haven't played World
They
Series.
made
It's
the
like the
ALCS 2 years ago.
we're not talking, boy. They haven't played championship baseball. I'm talking about guys that have won championship baseball. When I talked about the Dodgers lineup a few seconds ago, those are guys that have won World Series as opposed to the Guardians. And I love the Guards, but they have played playoff games, Rozycki. But there takes a level to win a championship, and there's no guy on here besides Jose that's been to that World Series. So that's what I'm saying too. That's I guess more so my point is like the young guys have to learn how to win. A lot of them haven't won in these playoff runs. Yes, I get the ALCS run, but DeLauter, his first experience was a wild card. Some of them aren't, but some of them are. DeLauter, his first experience was a quick outing in the wild card. You get Manzardo, the same kind of type of deal. So that's what I'm saying. The guys that we're calling on the most.
Well, this series and the Dodgers, and we mentioned, I mean, this March-April schedule, like this already has a playoff feel to it. Like you're gonna gain, this schedule is giving you an opportunity to gain the necessary experience that you need. It felt like in this series, I know today's game didn't go well at all, but Thursday, Friday, particularly Saturday too, every at bat mattered. Like it felt like a playoff series this past weekend. It just did. And I thought both teams brought it. And our pitching staff, real quick, Rob, real quick. Okay. Our pitching staff until today, Kyle Rowley did nothing. He did nothing until today. So, I mean, for 3 games, you shut down one of baseball's best players.
Now, I do want to see what happens to this team when they start just playing regular baseball and it doesn't feel like postseason. Because, it's just like, trying to sprint a marathon. You're not going to be able to play this kind of a season with an energy like this and survive. So I want to see what happens to these starters and everybody when it just becomes every day and we're doing our thing. And we'll hit.
I'm sorry. I got to make a quick Josh Naylor point. Boy, he been an improvement for Seattle. 0 for 14.
Again, give that credit. I'll give some time on that one too. Again, he's facing a bunch of pitchers that know him pretty well too, so there is that, and his brother. We'll hit the ABS stuff maybe later in the show, maybe a little bit later on, whatever. The one question I do want to ask, gentlemen, and this did not go unnoticed in the first 4 games of the season. 4 games, 3 cable providers. We've had the MLB TV for a couple of games. We had Apple TV on, Friday, Saturday? Saturday, I think?
Friday.
And then we had the Cock today. We had Peacock playing the game on NBC today. Are we okay with this? I understand we're living in a new age where we're pretty good at Googling games and where the streaming's at, but, 3 providers in 4 days is a little bit of a pain in the ass here.
We highlighted that on Midnight Run, even just talking about how it's, $40 or more to freaking do the opening series. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And that's why we've talked about it before, and I love sports with all my heart, but there are other things to do, and sports companies are, organizations, they're going to push people away from it. It's like, why should you have to pay $40 for an open just to be able to watch all the games of an opening series? I'm not getting to go to a game. I'm not getting to go experience, the ballpark experience. That's why it gets frustrating. It's because I just don't. The whole pitch. I was talking to Papa Moon about this. I said the whole pitch on, switching from cable to streaming was it's cheaper and you can get everything you have still. Now it's like. You pay the same damn price, if not more.
They lied to your face. They lied to our faces, all of us.
It's like crazy. It's like, $40 for an opening series is ridiculous. I almost dropped an F-bomb because that's how ridiculous it is. And that's where I'm at. That's why I talked about months ago. I said people will find alternatives if they keep getting pushed out. Not only are they now getting pushed out of live events, we talked about it from baseball to the Super Bowl. Super Bowl's always been priced, but even like normal regular season games now and even wrestling. And now we're talking about watching it. Now you can't even, this much to watch WWE, this much to watch the opening series of the Guardians. When does it end? We are in one of the highest priced living situations I can remember in my 28 years, almost 9 years here on this earth. And when does this shit end? Excuse my language. When does it end?
I will play devil's advocate briefly, and because I agree with you on a lot of these points, but I will bring up a couple of a counter argument here. When I was a kid, and I'm a little longer in the tooth, I've been around for 43. We talk about access to these games. Oh, we don't know what's going where. We don't know what's going where. When I was late 80s, early 90s, I was living in Michigan. It wasn't a 100% guarantee that we were going to get all the Tiger games broadcasted. It wasn't, let alone getting all the out of area, college football. You were kind of stuck with whatever the game of the week was on ABC, and then you had a couple of local games, and that was about it. Yeah. Like, now we can pick whatever we want to pick. There's cameras everywhere. Every network wants content, wants live games to play. So you can, dude, I was watching Highlight the other day on ESPN Ocho in the hotel room. Like, so, you know, these networks want to put on these games, so they're everywhere. You do have access to them, which we just did not have back in the day. There were games, honestly, with Detroit, and, I'm sure Cleveland could say the same thing, that they did not have a broadcast for. It was turn on the radio and listen to Herb score. That was your Indians coverage of the day. So at least we do have this stuff now. But I agree with you. Yeah, I mean, it's insanely confusing. It's insanely expensive. Like, one thing I'm going to be able to do tomorrow at the radio station is when I turn on my ESPN to see if my ESPN package is good enough to get the Guardians games locally. Or if I do have to go get the MLB crap. Or if I do have to go get whatever. So I don't know. And the other one I heard too, the Brewers announced what their primary network was going to be a few hours before first pitch.
That happened to us last year. That's exactly what happened to us last year.
You had no clue when you woke up in the morning on opening day how you were going to watch your team.
Yeah.
And that I know local sports networks, all the RSNs, they have a lot to play with that too. It's a mess. They need to fix it because they want this game to grow. The only way you're going to have it grow is to have people see it. And
no, that's the thing.
I will give NBC kudos for having Sunday Night Baseball. That I miss shit like that. That's awesome. I will, and they did a good job with it. I don't know if you were listening to it. I believe it was they had Rick Manning, they had one of Seattle's guys, and then they had the main NBC voice. So you had
Jason Benetti.
Yeah, and by the way, Seattle's dude, Australian, which is a little bit weird to listen to, but okay enough.
Hey, easy, bro. Our best prospect is Australian.
I'm okay with it. I mean, it was just dude. Imagine turning on an NFL game and having Piers Morgan or one of Richard Hammond doing it, like, and having it be British. Like, it was weird.
I think the lead track and field announcer for NBC is from Australia. So that's
different. That's an international sport, but like
I know, but
baseball and you hear, Matilda going on here. What's going? Okay, whatever.
On top of what you guys mentioned already, the thing that really bothered me scheduling wise this past weekend.
Trying to get some Vegemite. What's up?
Opening day should be played in the daytime. I understand we're playing in Seattle. Get it? Somebody has to.
And that's been a pain in the ass, dude.
But
that late.
The fact that you're opening. Why is that game being played at night and on their time? Why do we have to wait till 10 o'clock on opening day to watch our team play?
The first three
where everybody else is playing in the afternoon.
Yeah. Because they want the TV windows and all this stuff. And I am kind of delighted in the fact that we are a team that can be featured in a nice matchup on national TV. You can't say that about the football team here. So it is nice to be relevant, and it is nice to be wanted, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it's and that's why we were moving to MLB Network and moving to Apple and moving to Peacock the last few days. So it's nice to be wanted, but still, I mean,
that is true. I mean,
I'm gonna give a little bit of benefit of the doubt that like I said, I know we gotta go to break, but I don't want to start a whole discussion. I'm gonna give benefit of the doubt to the West Coast discussion, to the West Coast peeps, because look, man, they start the Super Bowl at 3 o'clock, like over there, 3:45, and some games where it starts at 8 o'clock, it's like 5 o'clock. They're still working or something. I mean, think about that. I'm just saying, guys. I know none of us are spring chickens anymore or whatever. But I think we could freaking watch a 10 o'clock game every now and then. Double, you make a cup of coffee before midnight run every freaking Monday through Wednesday. You tell me you
I
can't
told
make a
you
cup of
before
coffee?
the show how long I stay up. I can't be
need to-
staying up till 3 in the morning.
I'm
That's
trying
why
to
I'm getting
convince
double energy
Nikki. I'm
very
trying to
soon.
convince Nikki to move to the West Coast right now, either Northern California or Portland, because the idea of waking up and having all of your football happening at 9 o'clock and being done with Sunday night football by 8:30 p.m. Oh my God, you have a life again on Sundays. Like, that would be just awesome.
But the games you miss is my point. The 5
What games
o'clock.
would you miss?
The 5 o'clock games that they start, 8 o'clock in Cleveland and it's 5 o'clock on the West Coast. You'll be working or something. I mean, I get
It's
we
like
work
12,
at
it's like
conventional.
6 games a year. Who cares?
No,
It's like-
not if you have a good team.
I'm not a Jaguars fan. I don't care about the 9 a.m. game.
Fine,
Listen,
all right.
The best time zone for sports viewing is Central Time Zone. That's the best.
It is. I was sorry, Double A. I'm gonna absolutely agree with you though, because when I was in Texas and March Madness was starting at 11 o'clock in the morning, I was so excited. I didn't get a lot of time to watch a lot of March Madness, but the fact that I was like, 11:45, 11:15, there's a March Madness game on, crazy.
I was NBA playoff games starting at 7 o'clock, like the prime time game starting at 7, ending at 10 o'clock when I was in St. Louis a couple years ago. Yeah. And baseball games still start at 1 o'clock, their time.
I mean, it's probably for a different show because I think it's a lot longer of a conversation. But with the NFL's opening up in Sydney or doing a Thursday night game in Sydney this year. Baseball's moving around the globe. We've seen the NBA now do some games in Europe. And with talks of the Nippon Baseball League doing business with Major League Baseball. Like, we're going to have to get used to this next, in moving into this next generation of sports fans, that we're going to have relevant live sports on pretty much 24 hours a day. You're going to have your 9 a.m. game that's starting in Tokyo. You're going to have your 9 a.m. game that's starting in Berlin. You're going to have your 2 a.m. game that's starting, local time, just fine out in Sydney or in Tokyo or in Johannesburg, South Africa, or wherever the case may be. Like, we're going to, like, I remember with the Olympics a few years ago when it was in Brazil. Like,
Yeah.
they're like, oh my God, that's so far away. I'm like, no, it doesn't matter because it's all about this way, not this way. It's the same time zone. So we got all of the same stuff. So yeah, we're just going to have to get used to like that Olympic stuff, if it's in Europe or in Asia, kind of happening all the time because it seems like the NFL wants to do a foreign game pretty much every week now. So, that 9 a.m. spot, depending on where you're at, is going to be, a pretty important situation. I make fun of it because it's the Jaguars' time slot, but it's going to be everybody's time slot now.
All right. I want you to remember this conversation, Rob, when I try to send you a trade request at 2 a.m. leading into a 3 a.m. kickoff from Tokyo.
Oh, my God.
You better respond.
Oh, my God. Could you imagine having to have your lineups in at like 4 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday because you got, whoever the hell's playing, whoever the hell in Melbourne or in, Sri Lanka or whatever in Nepal, whatever.
And then you get the injury report 90 minutes before the middle of the night and you didn't see it? You don't have a quarterback starting?
Oh, imagine being one of the teams, though. Like, you got a couple of quarterback injuries, and you're like, all right, so we got to sign somebody and get them on a 19-hour flight to the Galapagos Islands by the open of business tomorrow to make sure they can play and pass a physical.
Oh,
So,
man.
Yeah, but I think that's really exciting and that's really cool as a sports fan. And I think maybe later on that might be a pretty good show or a good topic to kind of talk about the drawbacks and the pluses of that.
Yeah,
But,
that's a good summer topic.
We started with Disney. We moved to baseball, and now we're moved to worldwide sports. So yeah, we're definitely on topic here at the main event. But this is the main event on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. We got Anthony Alford, we got Eli Moon. I am Rob Rozycki. We are back from vacation and better than ever. One segment down, 2 more to go. Hopefully we'll try to tighten things up in the second half of the show here. But, we have a whole lot to talk about. We got the Cavaliers. We got the best driver being the worst driver simultaneously. We're going to bring up Tiger Woods a little bit and have some serious discussions about that one, all jokes aside. And I got some questions coming out of vacation, too. We'll cover that in the last segment. But this is the main event here on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. Again, we have Eli. That's Anthony. That's Moon. I'm me. We'll be back.
Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans dedicated to our favorite teams and to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. We feature a wide selection of gear from every league, including NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and NCAA merchandise, which allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to fanatics.com by using the QR code on your screen right now to celebrate your teams.
Hey, welcome back to the main event on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. I am Rob Rozycki, who was not aware that we were going to take a 4-minute break. But we are back, and yes, how we all doing? We got Eli Moon, Double A Anthony Alford in the house. What's going on, gentlemen?
Hey, we're good. We're good. No, the StreamYard sometimes will make you unmute yourself there. Eli jumped there right before I did there, but
No, I didn't even have my earbuds in or anything like that. So yeah, we're definitely good. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We did a 5-minute break last week, so I just thought we were doing the same thing the week before. So, but yeah,
I'm good too.
Alrighty.
I'm smelling these Alley Rose candles, so I'm
Yeah, let me pull up my
Shit.
notes.
You
Here.
both like
Chance
these
to
up,
throw
though.
anything up here. We got the Cleveland Cavaliers. They are what? They are currently embattled right now. It seems like one game goes well, another one goes poorly. There's no consistency. There's really no effort. I don't want to say no effort on defense, but the defense is not showing up on a continual basis. Yes, they scored 149 points against Miami, but they gave up 128. So, I mean, we're having some serious issues going on with the team defense of the Cavaliers. And at least we got Jared Allen back. But right now, this team does not look quite like a team that can threaten in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, and that defensively, I am so glad that Kenny Atkinson called out the defense early last week after the Orlando game. That we won the game, we won that game, but it felt like a loss just because, again, when you get into these playoffs, teams are going to make game by game adjustments, and if you just go in thinking, man, offensively, you can just outscore teams no matter what, you're going to be screwed. But Jared Allen coming back, that helps tremendously because you need both Jared Allen and Evan Mobley in the paint, in the playoffs, so that way your perimeter defenders can take more chances on the outside there. So hopefully those guys are healthy. I know Jalen Tyson, we're not going to see him in this West Coast trip, but these next 2 weeks, this is where you got to tighten up somehow, some way. Tighten up that defense, lock in, going into these playoffs. Because I'm telling you right now, whoever we face in the first round, I mean, I don't want to say they're going to go in, they're going to come into these playoffs hot. They're going to come in hot, whether it's the Hawks, whether it's the Raptors. I mean, they're going to come in hot. So defensively, you're going to have to lock in and figure things out. But Jared Allen being back helps tremendously.
yeah, no, I agree. I agree, Double A. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about the importance of Jared Allen, and ultimately with the Cavaliers, it's, 149 or 148 points the other night. I mean, it's eventually, you're going to have to get stops. Evan Mobley's been great for what he serves as. Defensive Player of the Year, a guy that is ultimately going to be a good cog in the machine, but Jared Allen's going to be the guy that ultimately determines if the Cavs are a second-round team or if they're an Eastern Conference finalist, how far they go. We know what we're getting with Donovan Mitchell. We know what we're getting with James Harden. I've stressed before on this network about James Harden's not going to get better defensively throughout the playoffs. I think we're probably seeing the best, and hopefully he can at least maintain at this level. But ultimately, it comes down to Jared Allen. I don't think anybody saw before the beginning of the season that Jared Allen was going to be the main piece for this Cavaliers team, but he's going to ultimately determine where they end up in this Eastern Conference.
Yeah, I'm having him down there, and I honestly think, if it's going to be a make or break for him, too, because this is really with this whole team, this whole front court in general. I'm waiting to see Evan Mobley become the next Giannis Antetokounmpo like this team has been talking about for the last 5 years, instead of just going 17 and 9 every night. And Jared Allen, these opportunities are going to be there against Miami in the playoffs or in the regular season for sure. Remember, this was the same Heat team that they absolutely humiliated last season in the playoffs. But when they start facing some of these high-quality front lines, when they start facing some of these high-quality offenses, and you're not going to have as many missed shots there to rebound, is Jared Allen, is this front court going to be able to do what they need to do? Because if they're not physical, if they're not ready to withstand everything right now, then it doesn't matter what Donovan's going to do. It doesn't matter what Harden's going to do. If they're getting rolled over underneath, good luck, everybody. Now, the one thing I will compliment the Cavs on, if you were gonna tell me that the Cavaliers are going to drop 149 points, I believe 81 in the first half, and Donovan Mitchell is going to go 1 for 10 from the field and have 6 points, at least we're scoring. At least that offense is moving. They are putting the ball in the hole. Now, I don't know if that's going to be able to do it in the playoffs. Obviously, the defense kind of ratchets it up more, but it is nice to see this offense moving well.
Oh, yeah, the offense, the offense, in their minds, nobody believes that the offense is doing better than they are. And I will say this, though. It was a good response, a great response for Cleveland. After losing to Miami on Wednesday, the rare back-to-back against the same team in the same city, to have a 35-point lead at halftime, to score, 81 points in the first half. They came for blood. So at least from that standpoint, they fought. There is a switch in your mind that's just like, didn't we blow these guys out during the playoffs? Miami. In the first round. So you do have that. And sometimes in my mind, because I do see negatives a lot, I shouldn't. But when I hear like, oh yeah, the Cavs did this to Miami last year, like, great. What happened against Indiana? But I have to remember that first round did happen, and the Cavs did perform up to standard there. And again, right now, just looking at the standings, as you guys just pointed out, they're the 4th seed. They're a game and a half back in New York for the 3 seed. But let's be real about it, guys. Do we really want to face Boston in the second round of the playoffs or Detroit?
I don't think Detroit's going to get there. I think Detroit's going to have some serious problems even getting out of the first round, because the one thing that being the 3 or 4 seed is going to shield us from are those play-in teams. We're going to get a conventional matchup against, the 5 or the 6, whatever's going to happen there. The play-in team, if it is Charlotte, if it is Atlanta, they're rolling. You're right. Any of those teams are going to be red hot coming in, and Detroit might be just new enough and just inexperienced enough for them to actually have some problems with a first-round matchup for sure. But the other one I want to say too, again, I don't think the one guy that we mentioned in this whole Miami Heat thing, former team, Max Strus. He is back. He is playing. He is now a part of this team, and shooter's going to shoot. He went 8 for 11 from 3. He dropped in 29 points. That's where your scoring was coming from, and I think having him either in a reserve role or possibly maybe moving into the starting lineup at the end of the year, I think that's going to be a big thing too. But again, Donovan, we know what he's going to do. We know what Harden's going to do. That front court's going to have to deliver, and Max Strus is going to have some playoff experience to add. So, hopefully those will be the things that kind of come together.
I'm going to disagree with you on one thing. I don't know what James Harden's going to do in the playoffs. That's the one thing What was that?
I do. I think game 1, 2, 3, he'll have a really good game, and then all of a sudden when the closeout games or the elimination games happen, it's going to have to be Donovan's show.
Yeah, that's very possible. I mean, I kind of wish, again, James Harden is at his very best when he is the playmaker, delivering the ball into the paint. That's his game. But I need James Harden in this offense to I don't even know how the balance is going to happen, but if you're doing a trade for Darius Garland, the expectation I have for James Harden, he has to be a legitimate scoring machine come playoff time. I don't know at this current moment that I could trust him to be that every single game in the playoffs. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, I don't know if we can rely on that. The postseason history is there with James Harden, but I think at the end of the day, James Harden doesn't need to score 30, 35, or have these games that he had in Houston or anything like that to really be impactful. That's not what we're looking for. The whole thing when the Cavs were trying to get the Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell backcourt to work was, can Darius Garland bounce off of Donovan Mitchell enough in terms of passing the ball and find his spots? And he couldn't. And Darius Garland's having a lot of success out there in Los Angeles, and I'm happy for him. But James Harden's been exactly what we need next to Donovan. It's a guy who's going to get you 8 to 10, 12 assists a night and still get you 20 to 30 points. But he doesn't have to do that when Jared Allen returns back to the floor and he's getting you 20 to 29. You know, he's having those types of games. And that's the biggest thing with James Harden. He talked about it when he first got here, was the front court. He's going to get the guys Jared Allen and Evan Mobley involved and get them going. And he has. When they've been on the floor, he has got them going, especially Jared Allen. And I think that's going to be the biggest thing is, can James Harden be involved enough on the offense? Can he not lose focus, lose interest when the going gets tough? And if it's game 4 and we're down 2-1 in a series, or, 3-1 in a series, can he rally? I mean, we'll see. That's the biggest thing.
What I like with Harden and the way that he's in this offense right now, and you take yesterday's game as a microcosm. He was shooting under 30%. He was 4 from 11 from the field. But those 14 assists were still there. He was still moving the ball around. He was still responsible for a lot of buckets. And he did get to the line, too. So, he is a free throw merchant. He will be getting there, 6 to 10 times a game, no problem. So, if you take the 14 assists, the 4 field goals he had, and the 7 foul shots, you're still responsible for 23, 24 buckets a game, or 25 buckets a game. So, he's still, creating a lot of offense for everybody there. And, yeah, on some of these nights, if he is shooting under 30% or under 40%, you will be able to feed guys like Allen and Mobley. And, if it is Sam Merrill in the corner for 3, there are still options there. I think Harden is probably, I know we talk about all the points he scored, but since Kyrie Irving is probably the closest thing we've had to a true point guard here in town. And I think that's benefiting a lot of people. We're not having Darius trying, a guy who's a shooting guard by trade move over to lead guard. We're not having Donovan do the same thing. Harden moves the ball. You both have said it. So I think, having a true point guard in here for the first time since, that championship run is really helping this team out right now. And that's something he could do if he's not hitting shots. So that's what I'm looking for. Harden is going to hit a point where he's not going to hit any shots. Is he still helping the team out when he's not hitting shots?
Let me go back real quick, Rob, to what you said about Detroit possibly not getting to the second round. I think that's an interesting nugget. I'm looking at Charlotte. Charlotte, at this current moment, they're the 10th seed. If you are a Pistons fan watching this show, you better hope Charlotte stays as the 10th seed because they have to. The play-in tournament becomes a lot harder if they're the 10th seed. They are right now. They're a half game back in the 8th slot. So if Charlotte moves up to the 7-8 game and they win that or lose that, however that falls, if they somehow become the 8th seed, Charlotte, I think, going into the playoffs, they're the team. They're the dangerous team. They're hitting shots from downtown. They're the ones since the beginning of January. I think they have a top 4 record in the NBA, if I'm not mistaken, Eli. I think Charlotte is right up there as far as number of wins since January. If you take away OKC and San Antonio and Boston, I think they're number 4 in number of wins. So I'm hoping if the Detroit scenario happens and they lose in the first round, I hope it's not because Charlotte's there, because a Charlotte-Cleveland second round series, that's going to be a tough series.
Yeah, and and at this rate too, if it is the Hornets, Heat, whatever, they're 3 back right now of the 6th seed, which would be Cleveland's territory. We're talking about that. So I mean, this whole thing can jumble up. I guess we can hope that the Philadelphia 76ers limp out of the play-in tournament. I think that could help everybody out. Trust the process. Everything going with that. But, Yeah, I mean, this NBA, especially the Eastern Conference right now, is about as wide open as I can ever remember any conference being. So, really, the bad news is the Cavaliers aren't there yet. The good news is that even with what are we talking? How many games left here? We got 68 or we're less than 10 games left. The Cavaliers still do have some time to hone this thing in, and we just got to get everybody healthy, and we got to get this team in a position where we're not, the walking wounded coming into a playoff series.
It's unreal with the regular season, and I know we're going to talk Tiger in a couple moments. It is unreal that with 2 weeks left in the regular season, the top 10 spots are claimed in both conferences.
Don't say that too loud. Adam Silver's going to hear you and try to do 3 more tournaments to make sure everybody has a chance. I don't know who tries to bail their asses out more with a tournament, Adam Silver or Tony Khan. I really don't. I mean, it's like, like they both have kind of terrific. Oh, this sucks. Let's just do an 8-man tournament. Okay, it's cool. Oh, we don't have tag team champions. Oh, tournament. Yeah, whatever. Oh, our champion just kind of vanished into the ether. Oh, tournament. All right, cool.
I can't top that. You're spot on. I cannot top that. That is true.
I mean, we want to do a fall from grace show. We can talk about Adam Silver, by the way, on that one here. But yeah, speaking of falls from grace, the fall continues for Eldrick. That was one of the notes that I got during vacation. I even forget what day. I think we were in Tampa, so it was Thursday. I think is when it was, Wednesday or Thursday. We get word that Tiger was involved in a crash in Jupiter, Florida, around 2 p.m. in the afternoon. About 3 hours later, the police then addressed the media, explaining what had happened. And it looks like that despite blowing 0.00 on the breathalyzer test, Tiger did fail a urine test when it came into the station. And he was booked on DUI and a failure to comply with a police officer, and that was stemming from the 2-car crash. His SUV going at a high rate of speed clips a pickup truck, and he rolls over the SUV on its side. Cops show up, and everything happens. So this is now the 3rd time Tiger Woods has gotten into a DUI. Really, the only person I think who has any sort of more expertise with law enforcement at traffic stops is Myles Garrett. At least he's sober, though. But yeah, this is the 3rd one for Tiger. 3rd DUI, or suspicion of DUI, at least on this one. I don't know where you want to start. Fall from grace. We want to talk about an older athlete who has some issues that no one's willing to talk to him about. Well, what are we doing here? I mean, it just seems like one of the greatest athletes from the 90s, aughts, and teens, early teens anyway, has had a lot worse of a time in his 40s and 50s now that he's not golfing anymore. And I don't really know where to start this at, gentlemen.
Let's play the clip first from the sheriff, providing a little bit more details. Because this is very tricky. This is very tricky, but let's play what the sheriff had to say about this.
The individual driving that Land Rover was able to crawl out the passenger door of the car and was identified to be Mr. Tiger Woods. Our DUI investigators came to the scene here, and Mr. Woods did exemplify signs of impairment. They did several tests on him. Of course, he did explain the injuries and the surgeries that he had. We did take that into account. But they did do some in-depth roadside test, and when it was determined, he was placed under arrest and taken to the Martin County Jail. At the Martin County Jail, and even on scene, we really weren't suspicious of alcohol being involved in this case, and that proved to be true at the jail. So Mr. Woods did a breathalyzer test, blew 000s, but when it came time for us to ask for a urinalysis test, he refused, and so he's been charged with DUI, with property damage, and refusal to submit to a lawful test. In the crash, no one was injured. Mr. Woods did not seem to be injured at all, and the other gentlemen were not injured. But this happened a few hours ago, so I've given you the information that I have right here, right now.
Yeah, that's where we're at. Tiger, another fall from grace, his third arrest of this kind of situation. We're having his friends and his family go on the record, off the record, saying that, I'm reading something from TMZ right now. One of his friends, in the golf world is saying, bro, you're 50 years old. You can't be, this is 22-year-old behavior. This is something that, if you're a defensive lineman for Georgia is about par for the course, but you're a billionaire. You're 50 years old. You want to play in these major tournaments. You want to have a real life in the PGA and in the golfing world, and it just hasn't happened. And the other one I've seen too is his girlfriend. Trump? Who is Vanessa Trump?
Vanessa Trump.
She is having some issues right now. A source is telling the Daily Mail that, quote, he has to get things under control or she is not going to stick around. So that makes me wonder, how bad is Tiger Woods where somebody who was voluntarily attached to a member of the Trump family says this is too much? You can think about that one. So you're having his friends, you're having his family, I don't even want to know what his ex-wife is thinking about this, what his kids. Charlie Woods is not a young kid anymore. He now is old enough to know that Dad has some problems. So he's going to have to, let alone the golfing world. He's going to have to talk to his family. He's going to have to talk to his girlfriend. He's going to have to talk to his kids. And he has to make things right with them. Because right now, yeah, their dad might be a 15-time major champion, but he's also an addict.
So I am awaiting, I'm going to say something that I know it's not going to happen. What if the Masters, Augusta, they hold themselves to highest of high standards, what if they tell their number one moneymaker, you're not invited to the Masters until you go to rehab? I'm just saying something that
I think if there's any organization that doesn't care about the money, it is Augusta. I mean, keep in mind, they don't bid their TV rights. It's been NBC forever. They don't change their concession prices. I mean, Augusta's kind of content doing what they're doing, and we can just watch. So I think Augusta might be the best idea. The PGA, and I think that's the question right now, is should the PGA step in? Should the governing body of golf, an individual sport, we're not talking about, a team making sure a player is okay, making sure, somebody in the organization is fine. We are talking about, by nature, a couple hundred, independent contractors coming together every weekend to play a PGA tournament. What does the PGA have to do about, has anything to say about this?
You got to take that L. I mean, that's just that, because as the worst.
PGA is far more worried about money than the Masters is.
Well, I get that, but I mean, we mentioned before, like, I understand he's the biggest star, but if something were to happen and you refuse to do something, you had an opportunity to at least make the offer to do something, that's a black eye on the PGA. It is. If they allow him to compete at this point, we're talking about 4 of these now that we know about that he has been charged with, 4 crashes, and we don't even know how many other times.
And even just, obviously the I don't know how many other times argument's a great idea too, or how many things that happen behind closed doors that we just don't know about.
Or covered up, yeah.
But you're talking about Tiger now. Again, we're talking one of the greatest individual athletes of any sport, period. And he has had to take now, because of his own doing, 2 or 3 public, huge, humiliating L's. I mean, the whole night of the car crash with his ex-wife putting the golf club through the back windshield. And that all of a sudden spurns all the talk of, Waffle House waitresses and all this other stuff. Like, he has failed about as publicly as one can. And, if I'm the PGA, bro, having, being the only person in the second half of the 20th century that had a chance at taking down Jack Nicklaus. Being the number one guy in that sport for that long and having any chance of completing that story and finishing that career the way he started it was taken away by this crap. Mm-hmm. It was pulled away. If he doesn't get into that car accident back in 2008?
Yep.
What happens? What happens to Tiger? What happens? If he can behave like LeBron James has the last 25 years of LeBron's life, what does Tiger's career look like? And that was him who fucked that up. That was his decision making that fucked that up. So even with all that being, he knows what he's lost, and he's still not fixing it yet. So yeah, I mean, it has to be the family. It has to be the PGA. Somebody has to come in and protect the greatest living golfer on planet Earth right now.
But who has the stones to do it? Logically, we're speaking truth. We're speaking gospel. Like, these are the things that needs to be done. Who has the stones to actually do it, to not cover it up? We got a clip here. We'll play it right now from Barstool Riggs. When the news happened, you got guys like this dude from Barstool saying, yeah, we know the story happened. We're going to cover it up. Take a look.
You think I told our team to not post about Tiger Woods' DUI and to protect him? You're goddamn right I did. You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall. We'll protect Tiger Woods till we fucking die.
Yeah, it sounds like MAGA golf, honestly, to me. And that's and who is that? Double A?
Barstool Riggs.
Barstool Riggs
Mm-hmm.
is a shit reporter, is a shit content creator, is shit at his job. If you call yourself a reporter and you call yourself somebody who is an influencer and is, who considers it their job to relay information to the public, that you're willfully on Tiger's cock so bad that you are not going to do anything about that. That's what they did with Babe Ruth back in the day. That's what they did with, the 1920s and 30s. You're not a reporter, Barstool Dick. You're just a fanboy. And okay, great, you can point a camera in your face, but anybody who does it, anybody who blatantly just shields somebody from media scrutiny, that's why Tiger's here. Because none of his actions had consequences. And yeah, Barstool dipshit, you're enabling that. So you know what? If next time he wraps his shit around a telephone pole and can't climb out the passenger side and can't be healthy enough to make an appearance in front of anybody, it's partly your fault. And anybody in the golf media who has Tiger's dick stuffed so far down their throat, they can't mutter any words negative about him. Yeah, you're MAGA golf. So yeah, I don't have any time for that. All those guys who are doing that shit, you're not reporters. You're barely personalities. Just go make your dumbass videos and we'll do what we do over here. I'm sorry. No, dude. To proudly say that you're hiding somebody, fuck you. Fuck you.
And again, I'll go. He said it publicly. It doesn't make it any better, but he said it publicly. How many people are protecting? I look at.
Oh, I'm sure there are a lot of people who are because what all this conversation that we had about the money coming in,
mm-hmm.
That's what they're protecting.
Yeah.
Okay, this Barstool, a nutsack. He might be a legit fanboy who wants to protect his little hero. He goes to sleep every night under his picture of Tiger Woods. And dreams about meeting him someday. A lot of these guys, they're protecting Tiger because they're protecting the money and they're protecting the sport.
They're protecting access. If they went out and reported, this is power. If you go out and report what happened there, it sounds like to me, again, Tiger has people who's you go out and report this, you're not invited to Tiger's golf competition, a TGL. That ESPN has been broadcast.
This might be why I've never been accused of being. This might be why I've never been accused of being the popular kid in the room. You know, Tiger, the easiest way for you to get us to not talk about getting arrested for a DUI is don't get fucking arrested for a DUI. That's the easy part. Just don't do it. You make $100 million a year.
Get a driver.
You can buy 5 drivers. You can pay someone to sit there in a rickshaw and manually run you down the road. You have enough money to make somebody look forward to that job. Do it. The easiest way for us to not talk about Tiger doing stupid shit is not to do stupid shit. That's what we're talking about. He's 50 years old. That would be something I could picture John Morant saying, or Anthony Edwards saying, or Chase DeLauter saying that. You're 50 years old. You're a grown-ass man. Act like it. It's not that difficult. Most of us can go throughout our entire day without getting arrested for a DUI. It's not that hard.
I will, to end this, I will quote, I know it's not time sensitive to quote this show, but the show didn't commit the crime. I will quote the Cosby Show. Because I will kind of paraphrase what Claire said to Vanessa on that show. She said, Yeah. She said, hey, you want to have big fun in Baltimore with the ratchet. Okay, cool. We've been worried about you all day. And now that we know that you're okay, now we feel rage. And that's how I feel about Tiger. Like, I thought Thursday afternoon, 4th car crash, we don't have any reports on Tiger Woods at all, his medical condition. I thought he died. I thought
And maybe that's what the family needs to do. Charlie, ex-wife, girlfriend needs to look at him dead in the face and not be angry, but just ask him, who do you want to speak at your funeral? How do you want it planned? Because the way you're acting, we're going to have to enact that stuff a lot earlier than we want to. So do you want Mark O'Meara speaking at your funeral, or do you want Fuzzy speaking at your funeral? What does Jim Nance put a good eulogy up for you? What do you think, Tiger? Because right now, the way you're acting, I'm going to have to worry about shit like this. You're just going to be dead. You're not going to care. But you're going to have an entire family unit, an entire fan base, an entire sport wondering what could have been. Because I don't know how somebody could run for 15 years as the example of success, of winning. That was the benchmark of domination. And you now have spent the last 15 years after that acting like the town drunk, acting like, the dude that you bumping at your high school reunion. What the hell happened the last 20 years? Like, you've been 2 different guys the last 15 years, and I don't know if substance abuse has everything to do with it, but it clearly has something. And yeah, dude, I'm just over it right now. I mean, like, do I have to detach as a sports fan from Tiger because I don't want to feel like I did when Kobe died? I don't want to feel that low. I don't want to feel that blow. But Tiger is acting in a way where I'm going to have to eventually prepare myself for that.
It's unfortunate. It really is. Eli, you got anything?
Yeah, I mean, you guys pretty much covered it. I mean, it's at the end of the day, Tiger Woods. I mean, it's also a guy that was in the limelight. I mean, I'm trying to give him grace at the end of the day, too, because he is a guy that we celebrated for the last 20, 30 years, or whatever. And everybody has no problem celebrating somebody when they're in the success. And I feel for Tiger, and he needs to get his shit together at the end of the day because he has a family and he has people that are counting on him and to protect his legacy. You're a brand, you're a legacy. But I also understand that he's been in the limelight since he was a teenager. So at some point, some people, they are very good at concealing their demons and all that until they aren't. And right now, this is what Tiger Woods is going through. And I feel like he does need the help, but I also am not going to sit here and bash him when he obviously needs help. And I've seen people go through shit with these types of situations or whatever he's going through. If it is substance abuse, so I'm not going to bash him. I just hope he finds the help he needs.
Well, and the way that I look at this kind of stuff too is if he wants to get the help and he wants to change, I am all for it, but just for me as a fan, and I don't know how the PGA feels about this or whatever, but, we have to just as a league, as a game, we can't have you around doing this stuff. Like, and that's what it is. Like, if you're a recovering addict, then the public will have a little bit more of compassion for you. But if you're if you're Dean Martin hammered on the Tonight Show all the time, that eventually gets kind of old. So I can understand, and I don't think we're bashing anybody. I don't think but we're saying like Tiger just needs the help. But you came up with a great point, Moon. I think he was on late night TV at 2 or 3 years old. Tiger is an athlete, but he also kind of has the same issues that somebody like a Disney kid would have. Like somebody who was like Britney Spears or, kind of coming up through the child acting. Believe me, we saw the Nickelodeon documentary. So like, all of the pressures of growing up in limelight, in fame, having people around you that are willing to say yes to a lot of things, that are not willing to say, because you just said it, Anthony, who has the balls to do it? That's probably been a question asked about anybody in Tiger Woods' life for 40 years. So you're having some of that kind of psychological trauma and issues kind of associated with that too. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's not easy to be Tiger Woods. I will say that. And he probably has a lot of issues that even the guys that cover him, a lot of problems, within the fan, like that we don't know. I mean, does anybody know anybody until, you're there? So, but yeah, I mean, we're obviously hoping that Tiger gets, better out of this situation. And we're hoping that, yeah, he can be in a year or two at the Masters, waving to the crowd and, playing the par 3 challenge and ceremonial first tees and, being a part of everything. He deserves that. I mean, you cannot tell the story of golf without Tiger Woods. Yeah. So he deserves every bit of legacy he gets, but he just has to, he just has to meet a couple of things first.
Mr. Rozycki, you know what you deserve? You deserve for your questions to be answered while you were gone at Disney. And we want to hear more about Disney, but you have questions for us that deserve to be answered, and you have several questions for us.
Yes, I do, and we'll in lieu of our news and notes segment, we'll try to get these guys to answer some questions for me, and these guys being Eli Moon, the one who's, goddamn it, I can't, that one, and then we got Double A Anthony Alford. I am Rob Rozycki. This is the main event on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. Does anybody have any other business to tend to before we send this puppy to break?
There's a bathroom.
All right, then. All right, we're going. All right, everybody. We'll see you soon. We'll be right back here on the Inside Edge Network. Again, the three of us. We are the main event. We'll see you soon.
Clean energy, bold flavors, no jitters. See why people won't shut up about Dubby. Clean energy, no jitters or crash. Helps you lock in and focus. Over 15 absolute fire flavors to choose from. Visit Dubby.gg and use promo code InsideEdge10. Whether you're searching for a baseball autographed by your favorite World Series slugger, a signed football by an iconic Hall of Famer, or the jersey of a world-famous soccer star, you've come to the right place. Here at sportsmemorabilia.com, the web's leading source of authentic sports memorabilia, you'll find more than 500,000 authentic products from nearly every professional sports league, team, and player. Not only will you find your next prized sports possession with ease thanks to superb customer service and tremendous site experience, but you'll have the satisfaction and peace of mind that every product listed comes complete with a certificate of authenticity and is fully backed by the sportsmemorabilia.com lifetime authenticity guarantee. Mosser Moments Photography is a husband and wife wedding photography team based in Cleveland, owned and operated by Ryan and Hallie Mosser. For the past 10 years, they've captured more than 100 weddings across Northeast Ohio and beyond, always working together as a true two-person team. Their style centers on authentic, emotional storytelling, documenting the real moments between two people in love and creating images that feel natural, comfortable, and true to the couple. Rooted in Northern Ohio, but inspired by their travels, Ryan and Hallie bring a warm, personal approach to every wedding day. Their work blends experience, consistency, and a genuine passion for helping couples relive their best day through timeless photography. Learn more at mossermomentsphotography.com.
Welcome back to the main event here on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. We got Eli Moon, Double A Anthony Alford. I am Rob Rozycki. And yes, a brief word from our sponsors. And Double A, I think you got a little bit of a candy talk to kind of go with. I know I got blown out with my sweet tooth at Disney World, but we do have a couple of alternatives up here in Northeast Ohio that are just as good.
Well, you know what? Bring it back. Bring it back, of course, with BA Sweeties. Of course, the largest candy store in North America. That includes any candy store that you can find at Disney. None bigger than what you can find in Cleveland, Ohio, BA Sweeties. And this, if there was ever a time to go to BA Sweeties, it's this week. Many of us have a 4-day work week with Good Friday coming up. Of course, Easter weekend. Of course, many of you, your yearly viewing of the Ten Commandments. One of these years I'll watch that movie in full. But you need your peeps. You need, you need your traditional extra butter popcorn or the Buffalo Ranch popcorn or the cheddar popcorn. Your traditional candy, your creative treats, all that stuff. You got to get to BA Sweeties. Interstate 480, the Ridge Road exit, make a left on Brook Park Road. You'll see a giant lollipop right there. And when you go, if you start grabbing in bulk and stuff, you got to host a party or host things for your family or your friends this week or this upcoming weekend. If your order, when you are going to the register, if it's $40 or more, use the promo code Lollipop. The promo code is Lollipop. It's an in-store promotion only. If you mention that, you get $5 off of your total order. That's if your order's right at $40. It bumps down. It's about 12.5% discount right there. So, again, BA Sweeties is an in-store promotion only. You see the discount code there, Lollipop. Check it out. This is the week to go. This is, again, the largest candy store in North America. Over 75 years of business, BA Sweeties right here in Cleveland, Ohio. Back to you, Rob.
All right, yes, this is the main event here on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network, and we have a few things to go over here on our final segment. Thank you for joining us for the first two and sticking with us through the first couple hours of the program. Again, Eli Moon, Double A Anthony Alford. I am Rob Rozycki. Do we want to start with the Disney stuff first, or do we want to go with my honest-to-God questions that I was observing here while I was at Disney?
Let's go. Let's go with your questions first, and then maybe we'll end happily with your Disney full experience.
See, I will preview this by saying I just have a top 5 Disney attractions that we did witness. So I think we'll go with that one. I don't want to sit here for 2 hours and talk about it because it was a great trip. It really was, but. We will go with, I don't know if you've been to Disney. I don't know if you've done the whole rigmarole out there, if you're listening. It is tough to kind of, keep attached to the grid while you are riding around on teacups and, meeting Mickey and Minnie and doing all the happy stuff. But I do see headlines. I do see some things, and I had some questions, and I hope that my two lovely assistants here, Eli Moon, Double A Anthony Alford, can try to pilot me through what the hell has happened in the last couple of weeks while we have been away. And I have written some thoughts, I have written some observations and questions here. Let's see. Let's go through here. Why did the U.S. voluntarily not go with a UN slave? No, okay, that's a different show. Okay, yeah,
I have thoughts on that too. No, go.
This one. This is a little bit more aspartame to our situation here. Are the NFL? Are they actually going to hire replacement refs for possibly actual games? They're going to replacement refs with games that are going to be gambled on by real money. Is this something that's going to be happening?
That's the way it's looking. I mean, that's the way it's looking. If an agreement can't be made upon, I do want to point out real quick, Tom Pericello, he's been all over this. He broke some news, well, not news, but just observations while we were on the air tonight. The NFL plans to begin hiring replacement officials before the May 31st deadline of its labor deal and deploy them in training camps to have them ready. They need them to have them ready.
Boots on the ground in Iran. We're deploying people. Like what?
Hey, man. They're gonna send them to training camp. And then the NFL. He also retweeted himself. The NFL has offered its game officials a 6-year labor deal with a 6.45% annual growth rate and compensation. While the NFL Referees Association is insisting on a 10% plus $2.5 million for marketing fees the league regards as worthless. Basically, the NFL wants to make these officials full-time employees, and the refs are saying, I don't know about that. But Rob, to go back to
because the refs like make $250,000 and have a day job. Yeah, they don't.
Yeah. But I mean, we all know, we all remember that classic. What was it? Green Bay and Seattle, the Monday night game.
The Hail Mary, yes.
Which call was correct? Which one was wrong? Their justification. The league is going to tell you, well, we have replay. We can look at more stuff now. We can overturn a ton. The problem's going to be, though, Eli, if you're going to go that route, these games are going to last 4 to 5 hours because you're going to be overturning every single call. So it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah, you would hope that it would be a little bit better than it was back when, you referenced the Green Bay Seattle game of that season, because that was one of the biggest storylines. You would hope it'd be a little bit better. And they don't really have time to. I mean, you're seeing, baseball transition to a quicker, challenge system and, implementing a challenge system and really having a quicker one. And then you see the same thing with, other sports and just the game is being faster. So I think if football were to slow it down even more than what it is, you already have that gap in between plays they have to fill. I think the average attention span wouldn't be able to handle that.
Well, couldn't this, because they want the booth obviously more involved. You guys are saying, more eyes, everything like that. Is it a possibility that the NFL's covering their butt a little bit by saying, hey, if we're going to have these replacement refs out here and billions of dollars being bet on these games, do we want to have an eye in the sky to make sure a Hail Mary doesn't happen?
They're going to have to. I mean, they're going to have to. Again, there's so much. Let's just be clear about all this, too, guys. And I'm not out of pocket in saying what I'm about to say here. Every one of these sports leagues starts and stops with the money that the gambling companies bring in. The gambling companies bring in the major sponsors like Fanatics. Fanatics, by the way, is proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network. Go to the QR code there and get some products there. Boom. But yeah, those are the companies that drive it. I mean, would it surprise you guys at all? And I know we're going to talk the ABS and baseball, but to kind of give away my point there a little bit, it's been highly successful. Wouldn't it be shocking at all if all of a sudden we determine first downs by the ABS system if it's challenged? We determine we determine out of bounds. We determine touchdowns by the ABS system. Am I out of pocket in saying that?
And I think you might have figured out. Yeah, no, I don't think you're insane by saying that. And I think you figured out what the officials are having an issue with is that every time the league is allowed to go in from the booth, who are not officials, by the way, they're like the replay center is not officials. They're not in the union or anything like that. So anytime that the league is letting the booth come in and fix something, that's less power for the officials and the union. And the more and more you have your booth reviews, your ABS systems, your tech to help them out, and I think this is probably something you're dealing with the MLB umpires too, they don't see it as help. They see it as replacements. They see it as taking something from them, not helping them do anything. They're taking power, they're taking control, they're taking opportunities away from the guys in their union. They're not seeing it, the technology, as anything to enhance their experience. They're seeing it as something to take it away.
You just described AI in corporate America.
Yeah.
That's what this is. It's AI in corporate America. It's, all right, AI is here. It's not going away. Either you're working with it or you're out of a job. That's what this is. And it's a tough slope here because you can't just say get rid of all officials. Like, okay, fine, National Football League, go through and have the replacement officials again in 2026. If I'll tell you right now, you call me up to be a replacement official, I'll F up your 7th grade volleyball match. Do you think for 1 second I'm going to be able to objectively, for 4 quarters, for 60 minutes, be on top of an NFL football game, even if I went through training camp? I'm ready to smack 8th grade basketball parents. You think I'm going to handle professional athletes? No, absolutely not. But you still, and to that point, you still need quality people there on the sideline. So I don't think the NFL has as much of an upper hand as they like to perceive that they have. I just don't see it because you can't just, yes, AI is here, but you can't just gut your staff and think you're going to be fine. I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing every sport on every level kind of have to adjust with the times when it comes down to tech and comes down to help and yeah, I think we're all kind of relearning what these officials' new jobs are going to be. They're going to be more traffic cops. They're going to be more of regulating who goes what and when goes where. So I mean, it's a brave new world we're living in. And I just really hope that it doesn't go down to replacement officials.
Do you feel like the baseball umps? I'm sorry to jump ahead. Is one of your questions about the ABS? Because that kind of ties.
It can be. I mean, I've been watching it happen here and there, but I mean, yeah, is the ABS helping or hurting at this rate was going to be kind of my question on that.
Okay, so let me flip it before we answer it. Does it, like, you still need umps? Like, they still need to be there, right? Because my experience, even if you're using AI, right? If you use a computer every single play, they're going to be wrong too.
Well, yeah, but the thing is like if you take the game tonight on Sunday Night Baseball, they had Rick Manning in there for the Guardians as part of a 3-man booth. They were talking openly, I think the 5th, 6th inning, 7th inning, somewhere in the middle of the game, about, I can't wait until we get the ABS for check swings, for the computer to read how far the bat goes and stuff like that. So we're already trying to put more of this in. So and I'm and yeah, to use your analogy with corporate America, you got all these executives sitting here going, or all these workers going, apparently I'm just shit. Apparently we're just going to can me, and because the other thing too with computers, they don't have labor negotiations. They don't want to get paid. They don't want to, and they're not going to eject a catcher for not catching the ball over his shoulder. Like, they're not going to, do these stupid things that we see the C.B. Buckners and Angel Martinez in years past do. So, for a lot of the same reasons why a lot of these companies are going to AI, these baseball umps, football refs. We see it in tennis already now. They have the ABS system there too.
And they had it for a long time.
Yeah, sooner than later, I think we're going to see the official with 2 arms and 2 feet kind of go away.
But I will say this though, to answer your question, the ABS, the way it's been utilized this opening weekend, has been fantastic. It's been fantastic. I love hearing you got umps. I think I think the ump in Chicago, at Wrigley Field, he was like, all right, we're going to a challenge. He's trying to hear the challenge, and he left his mic on. It's like, this crowd's too damn loud. you have that, and then my favorite is what happened in Cincinnati. 2 straight calls overturned, and the disgust you see in the umps, because what makes this work too, in the eyes of the fans, in the eyes of the players and managers, no one ever roots for the referees and for the umpires. None of us. We have done shows for over 10 years. We have been fans of sports and been involved with sports from youth on to now for a long time. And not one time do we wake up in the morning and say, I hope the referees do a good job today. I'm rooting for the referees to do a great job.
The only time I say I hope the referees do a good job is when I'm praying that, hey, I don't need them to fuck this up. That's about the only time. And yeah, it is a thankless job. It is, a job that people kind of just, you might have like the one kid in the stands who's obsessed with umpires who dresses up like one, but yeah, the other 40,000 people kind of want you dead. But yeah, I mean, it is a tough job to do, and I think when we put, taking it back into the football idea and the replacement refs, I think when we put those replacement refs in again, everyone's gonna realize how tough that job in fact is. You're gonna have people that were reffing high-level D1 college football that are gonna get thrown in the middle of this and are gonna seem like they have no idea what they're doing because this thing just moves that fast, and the umpires, you can make the case too with the ABS. They need the help. These officials in football and in baseball need the help. We've all seen a football game live. How fast those guys are moving. And you don't get the if you're an official on the field, you don't get the aid of that replay that we all get in the stands. It is a hard job, and I think these replacement officials will do a pretty good job at reminding the fan base that.
Well, because let's be clear. Go ahead, Eli. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. No, I was just going to say, yeah, I mean, and to your point, you had brought up earlier, the Cincinnati Reds game. I even saw Salvador Perez as a veteran catcher just knowing how to expose the system. I mean, and that's what you'll see a lot of the guys do, too. Veteran catchers that know how to place, the perfect placement of the pitch, and that's what Salvador Perez was doing. It was barely catching the outside or the bottom of the strike zone. And it was like 4 different calls in a row where the Royals got it right. And I think that's going to be something fun to watch, too, is just like how catchers use this, how they're able to exploit and get this correct. But I don't think it's a bad thing as long as umpires are graceful with it. I mean, will they be graceful? No, probably not. But will they? Yeah, probably not. But that's ultimately what'll make it successful.
They'll be as graceful as me doing an Olympic floor routine. Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
I would pay.
That's the part of it. I think that part that the average fan kind of likes too is and it's tough when we say that like the umpires, they see this as a hindrance and it should be help. It doesn't help when the fans are using this as an opportunity to publicly shame the home plate umpire, and hopefully that public shame will be enough of a motivation for them to do their jobs right. And I think that's kind of what we're hoping for. Because this is step 1. If we need to do step 2, that means we're probably talking about umpires leaving the union. So, yeah, you better get this shit right. All right, I got a few more questions here. What the hell has happened the last couple? Let's see. Okay, how am I leading the Final Four NCAA thing? What's going on with this tournament? I filled out a bracket about 10 minutes before I went to Florida. And Double A informed me that I'm in like the 90th percentile, and the Final Four is kicking. So we do have a Final Four. Basically, Final Four. What the fuck is my question?
So let's talk about Eli. You want to share what the Final Four is first off, and then I got a little beef with Florida. Go.
Yeah, you beat Florida. That's funny. Yeah, it's UConn, Michigan, Arizona, and Illinois. So you'll have Arizona and Michigan play each other, then you have Illinois and UConn play each other. UConn just beat Duke in a buzzer beater, and pretty good games, exciting. You know, and it had a lot of Big Ten teams in the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight. So I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, as far as brackets, I filled one out like 2 seconds while I was on a flight to San Antonio. So I don't put too much stock into it, but I do think it was a lot of fun. I think the tournament's been a lot of fun to watch. I think there's been some moments, and I think the Final Four is going to be good. I mean, you got Illinois. That's a team that's been very, like, if you wanted the underdog, I mean, they're the closest thing you got to the underdog. They're the 3 seed. They're a team that's scrappy. They're a Big Ten team that hasn't really won it, you know, really. When you think of national champions in the Big Ten, you don't think of Illinois, you know, in the 2000s. So that's something that's cool. UConn, I mean, Dan Hurley, those guys, they got the, you know, the championship pedigree, so you obviously have that there. You see if they can get another one. Yeah, Michigan, and you know this. I mean, the post all the Juwan Howard stuff and John Beilein and all those guys. You know, they got there with John Beilein before, but will they get here this time? We'll see. And then I mean, Arizona. Seems like Arizona is just always in the running, but they never can get it done. You know, and I'm curious to see if Arizona is going to be able to get it done. And win this national championship. It just seems like for as many times that they're in it, they should have a lot more national championships than they do, and they don't. So that as far as my bracket, I like I said, I don't put much stock into it. I think I'm in like last because I filled it out and just selected. I did the what Chad and I talked about on prime time. I did the just select the random. And my random was, okay, I got about a minute before I had to put my phone in airplane mode, and then the game started, and I won't have a bracket in. So, you know what? I figured you got to at least compete, so.
Wait a minute. Wait, hold up. Wait a minute. You selected random?
Yeah. Yeah, I was on the airplane, and I was like, oh, I don't have a bracket filled out yet. I like it filled out the first round. So I didn't even pass the first round. Just complete luck of the draw. And VCU was one of my Final Four teams, Double A. VCU lost in the second round.
Well, and somehow, and this is my bit of advice for all of you filling out brackets, you know, next year, year after, whatever.
Yeah,
I didn't do random, Eli. I went completely 100% chalk. I did not pick one upset in the whole thing. Not one 9/8, not one 12/5. Nothing over nothing here. And the last time I truly paid attention to college basketball, Mike Conley Jr. was playing for Ohio State. That being said, with my completely chalk bracket, I am better than, and I'm looking at the ESPN celebrity picks here. Let's see. I am better than Field Yates. I am better than Emmett Golden. Shout out Emmett Golden on that one. I am actually better than Aaron Goldhammer, too, so I'm doing pretty good, apparently, against the 850 boys. Scott Van Pelt, I kicked his ass. He knows a little bit about college basketball. Let's see here. Stephen A. Smith, I am beating him pretty well, or at least the bracket the producer he had fill it out for him, because I'm sure he doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground on that one. But yes, a lot of we have Pete Thamel, we have Rich Eisen, Jonathan Zaslow's in there. Yeah, apparently I just know more about college basketball than all of them because I picked the higher fucking number.
So I can't even look at that option on my bracket because I did terrible. And speaking of
Better
Florida,
than Dickie V, Dick Vitale. Somebody probably had to work the computer for him, but he filled out a bracket.
PT Peter. Speaking of Florida, my national champions. Them efforts lost in round 2 to Iowa. Freaking Hawkeyes. See, this is what happens. See, out of the blessing of my heart, I said, hey, we're gonna put this together, and I'm gonna pretend for 5 seconds I study college basketball all year long, and I'm gonna put my heart and soul into this bracket. And I am currently, out of our 8 teams, I'm 6. Tied for 6. And Yeah, I think the only points I can get is Michigan winning in the Final Four to go to the national championship. That's it. The cool thing, I do appreciate the ESPN. They'll give you like a forecast, like what needs to happen in order for you to win the whole thing. And when I go to my forecast, I'll go to it right now. It says here, I'm not even joking. Please delete my app right now. Get out.
I mean, and like that was my change. Like normally I try to sit and cram and figure everything out and try to, like, okay, so let's see if I can half-ass this to a championship. I got 2 jobs. I'm doing this podcast. I like the Guardians. I like the Cavaliers and the NFL. I got other shit to do, man. So I just honestly, I thought that the committee was nice enough to provide me rankings, and I would use those rankings.
All kidding aside, in the past, I would have done multiple brackets. I would have actually done a women's bracket too. Would have filled that one out. So like that was, but yeah, one quick thing before we go to the next question. Eli brought up UConn, one of the Final Four teams. You look at Dan Hurley. You look at his resume. The last 4 years, national championship, in the national championship game last year. It only lost by 2 points. And now this year back in the Final Four. If this dude wasn't such a dick, like he would be looked at as one of the more beloved head coaches in sports.
Oh, he's probably, if you were to go into Connecticut and New England, I'm sure he is. And, he turned down the coach of the, after the first or second title, he turned down the Lakers gig. So, I mean, I think he's kind of content just, being UConn's head coach and not the national head coach here. It was like back in the day when Pete Rozelle went up to Art Rooney and said, hey, we're thinking about doing this America's team thing. Does the Steelers want to be America's team? And Art looked at Rozelle and said, we're not America's team. We're Pittsburgh's team. So I think that might be, as long as the fans like him there. Now, if I'm Hurley, that's what I'm worried about. Is like, okay, if I do have a losing season next year or the year after, now is my personality no longer just beloved, or now I'm just kind of a dick? I think we saw that happen with Belichick. When Belichick started losing, man, everyone that charm went away.
And he's at an interesting point that we might talk about on programming this week, or even on this show next week, if he wins at all. I mean, how much more? Like, Nick Saban was at a point where, okay, do I go on with the dynasty or do I give it a shot at the NFL? And this was Nick Saban at LSU. Do you give it a shot or go back? Dan Hurley's at a point right now, either you are, I don't want to say content, but it is what it is. Either you're locked in a content with UConn, this is what I'm going to be, this is what it is, or do you go for an NBA job that you can essentially almost pick and choose? If he wins a national title this year, Dan Hurley, that's going to be somebody we're going to be talking a lot about in the month of April and May. If there are going to be NBA coaching openings, maybe Milwaukee, that could be something you look into.
Milwaukee might fit into that, but yeah, with Hurley, he's not going to jump out of UConn to go coach the Kings. Or the Hawks or the Mavericks right now. No disrespect to Cooper Flagg. This is a Knicks job opening up. This is Boston opening up. This is, one of the franchises that, have some history and has a chance to win in the near future. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a short list of teams.
I'll put you both on the spot real quick. This Cavs run doesn't go well at all. First round exit, and Kenny Atkinson's out of a job. You want Dan Hurley?
Yeah, I mean, if he's available, I definitely would take Dan Hurley. I just don't think Kenny Atkinson gets canned no matter what. That's a different discussion. I don't think Kenny Atkinson gets canned.
Well, if we're going to be plucking college coaches, give me John Shire first, and then I'll take Hurley.
What has John Shire won?
Well, he's been playing pretty well at Duke. I mean, I'll take that, no problem. But the thing is, and what I'd be worried about at Hurley on the pro level is, would that act work with, 30-year-old millionaires? if he is coaching for the Knicks, is Jalen Brunson going to give him the time of day when he goes up and just starts, ripping his asshole open like a 19-year-old freshman? Like, I don't know if that's going to be. And you could say the same thing actually about Signetti with football. I don't know if that would play well with grown men who are, making tens of millions of dollars. But that would be the only problem that I would have. But they're both good coaches.
My only rebuttal would be, at least now he's coaching kids that are making millions of dollars as well.
That does help. That does. But I mean, that's why I said 30-year-old men who, are used to this, who have 10 years of professional baggage, who know not to trust coaches and GMs and organizations. Kawhi Leonard, is he going to if Hurley gets the Clippers gig, is Kawhi Leonard going to take that? I highly doubt that. So that would be my only concern. I do got a couple extra questions here. Going through here, we got we have this whole mail-in voting being cheating, and then Trump. Okay, that's again a different story. Oh yeah. Okay, so cornhole. We have a little experience covering that as a group here. Are you guys familiar with the with the cornhole champion having an issue here?
No, I'm not familiar with anything cornhole related while sober.
Okay, Dayton Weber. He is a cornhole champion, athlete, player. What I don't know the specific verbiage here. He's 27 years old, and he has no arms, and he has no legs. Oh, this gets odder. This gets dumber. The man who is a cornhole champion, and I'm looking at him throw, he does not use prosthetic arms. He is using the nubs. And he has kind of like some Oscar Pistorius blades on his feet. And much like Oscar Pistorius, he is now facing murder charges because apparently the guy with no arms, no legs who can play cornhole shot somebody in a car. I just got questions, guys. How do you shoot somebody with no arms?
I can't help you there, buddy.
No legs. No arms, no legs. So apparently this is what happened here. This is according to the local sheriffs. I think this is like Washington, D.C. area. The sheriff's office said in a press release that what the passengers saw in the back seat, the cornhole champ shoot somebody else, also 27 years old. And then, by the way, the guy who was the no arms, no legs cornhole champion was driving this fucking car. Because apparently after the shooting happened, dude pulled the car over, asked the guys in the back seat if they could give him a little help getting the dead body out of the front, out of the, basically like a "we shot Marvin in the face" kind of thing. They said no and were walking home, so they got the hell out of there. 2 hours later, a resident in Maryland, D.C. area called the police to report a body in a yard. And then the sheriff showed up, said, okay, that is a dead body, here you go. They found the car 100 miles away. Dude was in the hospital, for some medical condition. And yeah, he's looking at second-degree murder charges right now.
This sounds like a terrible Tyler Perry script. Terrible. How can you make this a Lifetime movie? Oh, never mind. I'm not even going to ask that. They'll find a way.
Scarlett Johansson will play him.
Yeah. They're going to find a way. No, I'm on the side here. I'm looking at details of this story, and none of this seems real at all. Dude had, what does it say here earlier? He had a 3% chance of living as just 10 months old. It was ruled he only had a 3% chance of living.
Well, the 27-year-old in the car with him has a 0% chance of living.
He could beat the odds there. That's wow. How I that is unhinged behavior in the most handicapped fashion possible.
Again, I know somebody's dead and bad things happen to good people. Like, not, this sucks, but like, this is almost a story, just, kind of, showing how, much somebody in that situation can do. I mean, you're the highs of the highs, the lows of the lows, and again, how do you play cornhole, drive a car, and then shoot somebody, all with?
Here's my question. So I have the NPR up here, and it says authorities say the murder investigation is ongoing and are asking anyone with relevant information to call or submit tips online. What are you supposed to say that sounds credible? What are you going to say? I saw the guy with no arms, whatever. He just happened to have a gun. And
shoot the dude, and then he jumped out of the car and then hopped on a motorcycle with Bigfoot and drove away.
Yeah, what are you doing? Hopped out of the car. What are you doing?
Yeah, Elvis was the getaway driver.
Dude, how can you say, "Oh, we want credible information," and not? This is unreal. This is unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't get it. I think this is going to have to be one of those that the trial is going to have to happen, and I'm going to have to actually take some notes here and figure out what the fuck happened. Because you're sitting in you're sitting in the line for it's a small world after all, and all of a sudden I see this fucking headline. Yeah.
By the way, he was Maryland's best cornhole player. He was crowned Maryland's best cornhole player in 2020.
Okay, I mean.
Wow.
Again, there's just so many questions that we're going to have to answer here. But this is the main event here on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. We got Eli Moon, Double A Anthony Alford. I am Rob Rozycki. I guess I got one more question to ask. I mean, there's a few things we can... You guys are good at sending articles the whole way through the week and stuff like that. I do want to get into your conversation about high school baseball and all that kind of stuff. But... I guess we'll go with the Browns here. Is Myles Garrett going to get traded? Is this what I'm hearing? Because there was a contract restructure, and then all of a sudden he was getting traded. Is this it?
No, you got this one.
You can have it. You can. Same here, Double A.
I am so sick. I am so the short. Yeah, I agree with Eli. Short answer is no. Yeah. Right now, if he does get traded. Supposedly, if he gets traded, it'll be in September. They're not going to do that. Not that close to the season. So maybe next year. This is the one time where I do agree with Andrew. We got the owners' meetings in Arizona. We'll have coverage of that throughout the week. And you can see it in Andrew Berry's face. It's like, dude, enough Myles Garrett stuff. Like, we reworked the contract to give everyone, give us a little bit more flexibility, but no. I will give the floor to you, Rob, though, since you did not have an opportunity to talk about this a little bit, since you were in Florida. But
it honestly seems like that, this is kind of in the same, wing as Dan Orlovsky just running his mouth about stupid shit, because honestly, I think what the Browns are probably doing is they're going to wait to see who drafts Ty Simpson and then trade for Myles for Simpson straight up, I'm sure. Actually, the Browns will probably have to give whoever a first-round pick with Myles so they can have the privilege of taking Ty Simpson and having the greatest Alabama quarterback on their roster since Joe Namath. No, I think this is all, hey, we're sitting here in the middle of March. We got April coming up. The draft's still a few weeks away. We need to be talking about the NFL all the time. So, there's no other sports going on. I know that there's not a lot of other time to worry about here. But I think that's what this bullshit is. It's bullshit. It's just them, the four-letter machine just trying to create clicks and trying to get engagements and trying to get whatever here. Because what I read was, and correct me if I'm wrong, was that this whole rework basically means that instead of making a decision on what to do with Miles in the spring when the league year starts, they moved all the dates where his incentives kick in and all of his roster bonuses kick in to the top of September. So they could do a Micah Parsons to Green Bay kind of deal if they wanted to. And, keeping in mind too they didn't take the no trade clause out, so Miles would have to okay wherever he go, wherever he's going to go. So yeah, it seems like the national and local media are like, hey, we haven't had any new Browns news for a couple of weeks. Let's just make some up, and this is kind of where we're at.
Yeah, and that's just what it would be. It's just like, okay, from a technicality standpoint, you have the flexibility to do that, but you didn't take out the no trade clause like you just mentioned. It's not something that I just see happening.
Well, let me be clear, Double A. When I said no earlier, I didn't want to talk about this anymore. It's not because I don't think they're not going to trade him. They're definitely trading him. I disagree with both of you. They're definitely trading him. It's just a matter of when. Yes, soon. 1,000% soon. There's no reason.
Before the season starts.
Let me finish my point first, and I'll answer it. So first, they restructured the contract of when they can do it. Yes, we talked about that. They also talked about the draft picks from 3 to 5 years. So that's another thing that we're not bringing up here. The Browns are trying to get the largest haul for Myles Garrett. So whether it's before the draft or whether before the season, I don't think Myles Garrett will be a Cleveland Brown this year. So I think that's the biggest thing. That's why they restructured the contract, why they gave themselves a little bit more flexibility to trade him in case, okay, they want to see how the draft goes, how that's going to fall before they make that move. They also want to see if they can get first rounders this year, next year, in 2028 or whatever. I think that I disagree with both of you. I think they are trading him because at this point, Myles Garrett is not happy here. This is the second time second offseason in a row he's shown that he's disgruntled, and I think the Browns are like, okay, at this point we're going to get the most capital we can for him and just start this rebuild that they already are in. And they talked about in the Sunday Sports Show here on the network earlier today. They're already in a rebuild, the Browns. They just got to accept it, unfortunately, and this is just what it is. And this would be the kickstart to a rebuild, accumulate more draft picks and get back into it. And how are you going to accumulate more draft picks and get the largest haul except for getting a rule to pass to get 5 years of draft picks instead of 3?
That is so
and also
dumb.
structuring it. How is it dumb? How's it dumb?
Trade five years out into the future? You're trading the rights to somebody who's in 7th grade, 8th grade?
It wasn't done for OKC, it didn't seem like. I mean, OKC did drafted.
Different sport.
And it's about managing your team. It doesn't matter about the sport. It's about managing your team and getting the draft picks. And if
Andrew
you
Berry
are not
wants
winning,
more rope to hang himself with is what
you're
it
not
comes
winning.
down to.
You're not winning with Myles Garrett. He's not happy in Cleveland. So if you can,
I understand the idea
Right.
of trading him. And I was advocating for that. When the whole thing started here, but the Browns don't seem to be interested in that. I'm talking about the trading 5 picks 5 years into the future.
you would get the most haul. You're going to get the first rounders this year or next year, and you're trying to accumulate as much as you can instead of limiting yourself to 3. That's why the Browns are trying to get the rule to pass.
Oh,
So
I understand
I'm not,
in theory, but
Right.
the team that shipped away 3 number 1 overall pick or first round picks, 2 second round picks and a 3rd round pick for a guy who ultimately didn't play for shit, wants to be able to do that for 2 more years. The Browns want to open up this window of suckage for another. Like, if they had 5 years of picks 4 years ago, we would be sitting here until 2027, 28, waiting for a first round pick for the Browns. No. And then plus 2, anybody, no GM in their right mind is going to want this because, okay, if I'm Andrew Berry and I can all of a sudden trade all 5 of my first round picks, and I don't have a first-round pick until 2031, Barry gets fired, who the hell is going to want to take over that job? What GM is going to want to take over a new gig with no first-round picks for an entire presidential administration?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
no,
there's obviously, yeah, I mean, there's common sense involved too, Rozycki, and some people shouldn't be general managers. That's a different discussion for a different day.
What about the guy who traded Deshaun Watson for 3 first-round picks?
I get it, but
That's what I'm talking about.
But your original question was, how are they going to get Myles? Why would they extend it? This makes no sense. They wouldn't trade Myles Garrett. Read the breadcrumbs. The breadcrumbs have been showing you that they're gonna trade, and they're trying to get the largest haul for Myles Garrett. I mean, it's not rocket science, fellas. That's how I feel about it. I think.
That's what I understand that.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
I understand.
Hey, but you're saying the Browns have no interest showing no interest in trading him, but they've showed interest in trading him by every move they made this offseason, by trying to put the rule in for 3 to 5 years for draft picks, by restructuring the contract. Myles Garrett was disgruntled. We've talked about it on this network about him on the Instagram talking about how he's disappointed with the Monken hire, and they have not. You hear all this about Myles Garrett. So if he's not happy here and you can get the most for him, why wouldn't they want to maximize that? So that's what they're doing.
I'm so unhappy that I signed a $35 million a year contract, man. I am so disgruntled that I am going to put my name on
a lot
this
can
piece
change,
of paper
Rozycki.
and commit my
a lot can change. A lot can change.
He 2 months before that contract, he was saying he wanted out. Then he wanted back in. Now he wants back out.
Okay.
I don't really give a shit about what Myles Garrett wants.
Okay,
right now,
and he
man.
doesn't give a shit what you think. He's allowed to decide. Guess what? He's the best football player on the defense side of the football. He's allowed to decide how he wants. If he wants to not waste his last bit of his prime in Cleveland, hoping he gave him one more chance, sign the contract.
Was he forced to sign a 4-year contract?
He's allowed to sign it. They took care of the most important defensive player.
Hold on. When you sign the contract, you have to deal with the contract. This isn't like I'll sign a 7-year contract and just reevaluate things in 5 minutes.
I'm pretty sure he can make the calls, and that's why the Browns are entertaining it, and that's why
he can't make the calls. He tried to make the call last year, and they told him to shove it up his ass.
He's going to make the call, Rozycki, because he has a no-trade clause. So the Browns are going to work with him to make a trade happen, and they're going to move off of Myles Garrett. So that's the reality of the situation.
Here's the other big picture.
Cap hit. Yeah.
Hold up.
And hold on. Before that, Double A, hold on. And the Dolphins just showed you that they don't mind taking a dead cap hit of $99 million, splitting it in half. So the Browns. Hold on. Let me finish. The Browns will show. Okay, Rozycki. Like I said, the Browns will show that they don't mind doing it. So that's my final take on it. You asked a question, I'm trying to answer for you since you were on vacation for a week. So I'm just trying to give you the answer. I know. I'm just trying to give you the answer. That's all.
There is one other point, though, and we were only. And here's one other bigger point. That September deal, that September day is actually very important because which GM would be dumb enough to give up multiple first-round picks years ahead for Myles Garrett? Who would be desperate enough to do that?
Can Andrew Berry negotiate with himself?
No, he could, but he doesn't have to. There is a dumb GM you can find. How about a GM who gave up a Defensive Player of the Year candidate for a team that had a playoff-bound offense, but they had to score 30-some points a game, and they couldn't do it every game because their defense couldn't stop a fly? How about a team in Dallas? How about some dude named Jerry Jones?
This would be the year to do it. They got 2 first-rounders right now, and I don't know if that's going to – I don't know.
Jerry Jones, to me, if Eli's point is correct, the path to that being correct is through Jerry Jones.
If dude, and again, if the Browns can get that kind of haul, dude, I was saying a month ago that Myles Garrett is the Browns' Herschel Walker. That's the dude you trade away to get your several draft picks that you trade for other draft picks that you trade for other draft picks. The next thing you know, you got a Super Bowl contender. But if you can find somebody who's going to do that, but I just think that Myles has made it too hard this year to do it. That was a concession that he signed. He basically made when he signed that contract. Okay, I'm going to get paid. I'll be richer than I'll be the highest paid defensive player until Max Crosby signs. But I'll be the highest paid defensive player in the league. But to deal with that, I'm going to have to be here for another 2 years because I'm just not tradable until that goes down. And that's Myles' issue. Myles wants the money, but none of the actual problems that go with it.
Quick question for the both of you. You think that rule passes?
No.
The rule passes and Myles Garrett gets traded.
No, I don't. If that rule passes, we are 3 or 4 years away from it happening. It will not pass this year. There is no way that this thing is going to pass. I
I
will
don't
bet
think
you
it-
a quarter right
I
here
don't think it'll
that
pass.
it is not going to pass.
I don't think it's going to pass. I think it's not going to pass for one reason and one reason only. Is from the Cleveland Browns.
Well,
I
no,
don't even think
because-
so. I don't even, honestly,
Well, if you,
I don't even think it's a bad rule, but it's from the
no,
Cleveland.
I think it's a horrible rule. And I think when you start talking about the NFL prides itself on everybody has a chance every year. It's parity, 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 parity. You look at the NBA where you start talking about being able to trade picks. You know, I know they got the Stepien rule, but you can trade picks, I think, 5 years into the future. I think that's one of the reasons, because you can gut your first-round picks for that long, that you have the 4-year, 5-year, 6-year tankathons for these guys to try to find the right top 3 pick to work. If you were trading 5 years worth of number 1 picks, then none of this worst to first is going to happen, or it's not going to happen as much. You're not going to see that kind of parity. You're going to see teams that are basically dumpster fires for 3 or 4 years. I use the Browns as an example. If Andrew Berry was allowed to trade the other 2 years worth of first round picks, the Browns would be absolutely abysmally screwed right now. They wouldn't have there would be no coming back. This year, there's no first round pick last year. That wasn't going to happen. There's no first round pick this year, and there's probably no first round pick next year. So imagine what that would do to an NFL team 4 to 5 years. And now, if it works, it's great. But we've all seen these big trades before. The odds of it working are a whole lot lower than the odds of it actually falling apart in your face. So I don't think the NFL is going to want to do that to the league and make these have-nots be have-nots for even longer.
All right, I know we're almost out of time, but there's so much more juice to that. The issue I have, not necessarily with the details of this story, it was just you had the Guardians going on here locally. You had the Guardians going on. The Cavs are almost on their way to the playoffs, and a ton of stuff. And all day long, it was, well, Miles Garrett. What does this mean? Miles Garrett. Like, I'm like, oh, all right.
Maybe we can talk about Shador if you want, but yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, that's enough. I think due to time, I think we could save what we have learned until next week, because we got to hear your top 5 attractions from Disney World.
Yes, and for anybody who wants to go, honestly, my girlfriend is an amazing planner with this kind of stuff, and I've been trying to convince her to do this professionally, mainly so we can get more trips to Disney. But yeah, I mean, we had Animal Kingdom, we had Epcot, and we had the Magic Kingdom. No MGM. I know Eli was a little bummed about that, or the Hollywood Studios, right?
Hollywood
But
Studios.
yeah, real quick here. If you care so much, or if you're going down and talking here, I got a couple of honorable mentions here. I got a top 5 Disney attractions here. Outside looking in here, we got the Jungle Cruise. I know we all know a buddy who was running that ride down in Disney for a few years.
Yes.
I wanted to go down and see it just to kind of experience it. And by the way, it is a job that all 3 of us could do very, very well.
We'll shout about Rob Bailey. It's our guy.
Basically, you got a boat full of people. They give you a microphone and they say just crack jokes for 15 minutes. Have at it, bro. It's great. Yeah. If I worked at Disney, that would be the job I'd want to do. We also went on to the Everest Expedition, or Expedition Everest. Like, that's one of Nikki's favorites. That's also on the outside looking in. And then I guess you got to say Pirates of the Caribbean. We went to that one. And again, it's not high impact or anything like that, but it when in Rome, you got to do that. So, and I guess Small World, we didn't hit that one, but Small World's kind of in the same way. But without further ado, the top 5 ones that at least we hit. Again, no MGM, no Hollywood Studios or anything like that. Avatar. Did you do that one, Double A?
The
one that you're sitting, doing the whole, you're on the whole raptor flying thing.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that was badass.
Yes.
The other one, Number 4, I guess. I actually had to look the name up of this one because I just knew it as the dwarf one. The Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. That one kicked ass. It was a hell of a ride. It was smooth. And the best part about it was we were about 30 seconds in, and we were kind of at a lull in the whole ride. And this 7-year-old kid, 8-year-old kid, about 4 cars back, the entire ride heard it. He just leans back and goes, "Holy shit!" And everybody, I wish we would have had a picture too, because you had 12 adults just doubled over laughing, going up and down, and it was honestly one of the funniest things I've been a part of in a while.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Well, you think about it too. At 7, 8 years old, this honestly might be the greatest day of this kid's life. It might be honestly the peak at this point. But yeah, the Snow White, the dwarf, the dwarf mine ride was number 4. Number 3, and this was tough because, and actually, this was almost an outside look at it. Were you guys at the? Do you do the Animal Kingdom AA?
Yes, we did.
The safari.
That was fun.
Check that safari out. And believe me, if you come over here, Nikki will have a highlight reel of pictures to show you. I mean, lions and tigers and bears. Oh my! There was. We got into that gorilla paddock that they're in, and there's some distance, so you're safe, but you don't think you are.
I was gonna say it felt like you're in there. You really feel like you're in there.
Well, we walked in, and on kind of the top of the hill thing was, in the gorilla pose, the arms down on the ground, knuckles down. This, 7-foot, 8-foot silverback that, had bad intentions. You looked in that thing's eyes, and yeah, if that thing knew he had it shot, he was going to take it. And there was just one of the most intimidating things I've ever seen was this silverback just staring everybody down and reminding everybody this is his room, it ain't ours.
Yeah, that threw me off when we went in there the first time. Whoa, this is.
We got a couple pictures of it too, of that actual silverback, but. Yeah, that thing was not fucking around, and that was just awesome. The whole Animal Kingdom in general. I told my mom after we hit that park, out of the 3, out of the ones that we did, Epcot, Magic Kingdom, and Animal, I was kind of the least looking forward to the Animal Kingdom out of the bunch. That was kind of, again, nothing was going to be bad, but that was just, Epcot had the Circle of Nations, Magic Kingdom's Magic Kingdom. But, it was second one. I walked in, and this thing was just completely broke any sort of prejudice I had on this thing. It was, if you have the chance, it is a bona fide zoo.
I felt the same way when we planned out our Disney trip. We purposely said, all right, let's go worst to first. And we purposely said, all right, let's get Animal Kingdom out of the way, done. I was pleasantly surprised how phenomenal Animal Kingdom is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And, just, kick ass the whole way through. But, yeah, that was my number 3. But, yeah, and I guess you might be able to throw kind of all of Animal Kingdom in there because, again, just it was a hell of a deal. I don't know if they had my number 2 in when you were there, AA. Did you do the Tron roller coaster?
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, yeah. I wish I still had the photos.
Oh.
That was my number 1. Was Tron.
Nikki will show you that picture. They got me looking like I am actually riding this thing and trying to stay on the road. There is some focus happening right in front of me, and a lot of it was just don't puke on anybody.
My favorite part of Tron, the ride was fantastic, but the lead up, the presentation, the lead up while you're waiting in line, the first go around, spectacular.
Oh yeah, they do a real good. Again, it's Disney, and they do a great job of kind of immersing you in the whole thing. I have never seen the movie Tron, the old one, or any of the new ones, so I am not, really, a big Tron fan. But that was a hell of a ride. The one that is, I did not put this on the list. I don't put this anywhere on the list, actually. It was a good roller coaster, but it just didn't work well with me. Guardians of the Galaxy. Because Moon, and you're in a normal roller coaster, you're doing your thing. Well, we had a bunch of cars that were, butted up together, and each car span like a top while you were going down this. And honest, if you ever want to know what a pop can that gets shaken up feels like, go on Guardians. Because, I wasn't right for about 3 hours after that one. But number one, it has to be Space Mountain. It's Space Mountain, baby. I mean, just think about Ric Flair. It's the oldest ride in the park, and it still has the longest line, baby. And like that was the one I looked at Nikki right after that one. I'm like, I want to go again. And we that one, Space Mountain, dude. That was one of the ones I remember doing when I was like 19 years old when we were there the last time, and that one did not disappoint at all. But again, I really don't want to say like best and worst, most my favorite to least favorite, because everything there was rocking. The food was great. The parks were great. We did Steakhouse 71. That was their high-end steakhouse for our, and then honestly, as much as I like the steak, and I kind of told Nikki this, and she looked at me weird. My favorite meal of the whole thing was they had a hot dog stand in Magic Kingdom, and I got these foot-long chili dogs, and
I don't know why. I think it was at Magic Kingdom. They had these turkey legs, and I'm like, dude. Well,
we didn't get that one. I almost did.
Man.
Yeah, we almost did.
Oh man.
But, I mean, it was. If you have the chance to go, it's a little pricey for sure. But especially if you're adults and you can move around and you're not worried about slowing any pace getting slowed down. Yeah, I mean it's worth it for sure. And the resorts are great there too. I mean we felt bad. Like the worst thing about the resort was we didn't spend more time there. And just because we were out doing park days and we were out doing all that kind of stuff. So I mean it was a hell of a time. And shout out to the Florida Aquarium. We hit there in Tampa a couple days later. If you ever have the chance to hit there, man, it's weird. I never really considered myself a nature lover, an animal lover of any way, shape, or form, but the more zoos I see, the more preserves I see, aquariums, that kind of stuff, and we need to put as much money as we possibly can into that kind of stuff because, we're kicking the shit out of the environment right now, and a lot of this stuff may not be around in a couple 100 years. And we definitely need to make sure that this planet stays the way it's supposed to be, and so we can just enjoy it and we can just see some really cool stuff. I mean, I am not an animal expert. I am not a zoologist by any means, but if you just want to be impressed, pull up next to a fucking elephant. That's a fun time. Or when we were in the safari, the other cool thing that we saw. We got to the lion enclosure, and all that stuff, all the, like kind of rocky area. On the top deal, like the tallest rock in that little enclosure, you had just kind of sitting up like this, just Mama Lion, like it was damn near out of Lion King, and she was just presiding over her court. And in her quiet way was just letting everybody know who, in fact, is actually in charge there. And it is not the zookeepers. It's not Walt. It's not the ghost of Roy. It is the lions. And if you're here in Cleveland, Cleveland Zoo rocks. Cincinnati's got a great zoo. I know Pittsburgh's got a great zoo. Go up there, spend a few hours, and you will be impressed. I don't care where you go, you will be impressed. So, just a fun
Akron
time.
Zoo is fantastic too. I went to Akron Zoo a couple times. If the wallet's a little bit on the lighter side, go to Akron.
We're actually, what I've been posing to Nikki, and I want to get down there because with my mom in Florida, we have an excuse to go down to Florida every so often. I want to see what Zoo Miami's all about. I want to see what's going on down there. And, if you're sports talk radio, fans, you've seen Ron McGill around. He's the guy who runs that whole thing over there, and he does a great job with everything, and just is the first one to say that, hey, if we do our jobs right, we won't need zoos in a few generations. This planet will be good enough where these species aren't endangered and don't need this kind of help and don't need to be spoon-fed. And I just hope that maybe in the next couple of generations we take that advice and let this planet do its thing.
Well, I'm happy that you were happy. You and Nikki had a great time, of course, in Florida.
I'm happy Nikki was happy. That was the number one priority for me on the trip, and I think we achieved it. So
yeah, that's fantastic stuff. Well, you're home. Eli's home now. I'm home. So and all of you are home as well. So close out this month, head into April. Get this thing going.
Yeah, we got.
Of course, the end of the week. End of the week, the Guardians finally get to play at home. So you got that and Easter weekend coming up. So this is going to be
yes, we will see all the Catholics out there wrestle with the moral question: can you have a hot dog on Good Friday? That's also opening day. I'm sure we'll get a few bishops and clergy weighing in on that one. Actually, I think we can finally put this to bed. We actually have the right person as the Pope to make the call on this one.
Good point.
This is the first Pope that's actually been to an opening day. So, yes, I think, this will be my personal challenge to Pope Leo. We need an answer. I don't care what the answer is. I will agree with whatever you say. We just need an answer.
Or soup for you at opening day. All right, Rob, take us home.
All right. Well, for everybody here, we got AA Anthony Alford. We have Eli Moon, who looks very, very thrilled right now. He looks like somebody like his balloon just floated away. Are you okay, Mr. Moon?
Oh yeah, I'm good.
Okay, just making sure. All right, and we got I don't know what AA is scraping.
I gotta clean my coffee cup.
Okay. Well,
I gotta clean it. Got work in the morning. 15th
AA, you have good luck with that one. It's about 20 after 1 right now. I'm sure we all want to get out of here. To those who stuck around and listened to the whole thing and stayed with us, thank you very, very much. We could not have done it without you. Again, we are the main event on the Inside Edge Podcasting Network. You can hit us up on YouTube under Inside Edge Network and pretty much all the social media handles there are. So, check it out. Like, subscribe, watch, and rewatch. And, help us out as much as possible. We appreciate anything you can do. Again, for everybody here in studio, AA Anthony Alford. We got Eli Moon. I am Rob Rozycki. And we are the main event. We'll see you when we see you.